listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. On this hump day, we'll get over it together. Man, oh man, we expect a lot out of the sports world, and it seemingly keeps delivering. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark.
Wow.
How you handling these playoffs?
Well, with glee, David, since that yesterday I said Glee had its first show on or whatever. This is great. Hey, hockey on you. Basketball served first and won the game for, at love, if you know what I mean, because we can't do better than we have the last two nights in hoops. You had a Wemby go off 2 nights ago, and then last night, when it seemingly, according to the ESPN prediction model, David, the Cavs had a 99.9 chance to win with however many minutes and seconds were left there in the fourth quarter. And then, well, Jalen Brunson said, "Hold my beer, Wemby." And they decided to go after the old guy. And whether it was, a game 7 and the legs being gone, or, DNP old that was put in so many years ago by Popovich for Duncan there. I tell you what, man, Brunson in the fourth was phenomenal. They outscored the Cavs like 41-11 or something like that, and take that sucker to overtime, and then just keep on keeping on. And the Knicks shocked the Cavs, who looked like they were going to steal game 1. And, well, for 3 quarters and a couple of minutes, the Cavs guards were unstoppable. And then late, well, Brunson was unstoppable.
Yeah, I thought they should have gotten Harden out of there. I thought what the Knicks were doing was pretty obvious. And he couldn't stay with Brunson, so get him off the floor.
Yeah.
With 6 minutes, 8 minutes, I don't know how many more points you need to win the game, to be honest with you, with the lead that you have. So get him off the floor.
He couldn't hold him, period. And I think he only made one. I think he was 1 for 4 in the quarter. He missed 3 3-pointers and made that last shot. And if it's still the same scenario and you have him off the court, David, you can rest him for 5-8 minutes and put him on for the last 2 minutes when you need a bucket. If it would have stayed the same way. But I'm with you. I don't know. At what point do you say, hey, this guy's not getting it done? We've got to stop them. That's what's important right now.
As a Knicks fan, it reminded me a lot, only in reverse, of game 1 of the conference finals last year. They had a 17-point lead late third quarter against the Pacers. And the Pacers had the furious fourth quarter comeback. And they hit that shot that hit the back of the rim and bounced high up in the air and went through the netting to force overtime at the end of regulation. And then they outscored the Knicks in overtime and stole game 1, and the Knicks never recovered. And you do have to wonder, because the Cavs aren't getting any rest. You go back-to-back 7-game series, and they've got a TV schedule to fire up. And they need to get it going. And unlike when Montreal beat Buffalo in the NHL, and the NHL said, you know what, we'll give you an extra day's rest. Yeah, the Cavs won game 7 Sunday night in Detroit, and they said, well, you better get your butt to New York, okay, because you're playing in less than 48 hours.
Well,
I thought that could have played a little bit into it last night, too. I don't know how fresh they were down the stretch.
Well, they should have been. To be brutally honest, David, they only played 3 quarters against Detroit in game 7. That game was over. Guys got their rest in the fourth quarter. It wasn't like that game was emotional or physically taxing on the Cavs. They blew Detroit out. And they thought they could win again last night playing 3 quarters and change, and it doesn't work that way every night.
And now you have to wonder, okay, because, and I don't say this with any disrespect, but the Knicks ain't the Pistons. The Knicks have a little pedigree to them in the playoffs. They've at least done this as a group now for about 5 years. All right. If the Knicks get up on the Cavs 2-0, I don't think Cleveland's coming back.
We'll see. I'm not gonna put judgment out that quickly. I know that's kind of our job to say, but I think the Cavs have a little bit of pedigree of their own. They have guys that have been there, done that. So I do believe that this series is going for a while. I don't think this is a 5, maybe a 6-game series, but I think this is a 6 or a 7-game series, if you know what I mean. Not a 5 or a 6, if that makes a whole hell of a lot of difference.
Well, the league hopes you're right. Okay, and goodness knows the 4-letter network hopes you're right. They want at least 6 out of this sucker, and they'd love 7. Okay. And in one sense, the league was thrilled that the Knicks won. In the other sense, though, they're like, man, if you can guarantee me the Knicks are going to win the series, I probably would have wanted Cleveland to win game 1. It would have created more drama. But, I mean, let's be brutally honest. The league wants the Knicks in the finals.
Absolutely.
ESPN desperately wants the Knicks in the finals.
I think if they were to choose, I think they'd want Knicks Spurs. I do believe that. I think they'd want Wembanyama more than SGA because, I was with 2 people yesterday, one who loves basketball, the other one who hates the NBA and won't turn it on. We were talking about Wemby, with a guy who does not like the league at all. And he can't help but notice Wemby because, hey, I only watched the highlights. I didn't watch the game, but man, this and that, and about how big he is and his wingspan and all of these things, he's certainly aware of who the man is. And the longer Wemby plays, the anti-NBA guy is more likely to tune in to a game or two to see San Antonio play. I really believe that. So great start, back-to-back. We get double overtime followed by overtime. You couldn't ask from an NBA standpoint of a better start. And I've said for the longest time on this show, the one thing about the hockey playoffs, I don't say bothers me, but the hockey playoffs peak in the first round a lot of times. The hockey playoffs go on a downward trend as they go on because the guys are just beat up, whereas the NBA playoffs always go on an uptick as the playoffs continue. And last night showed that once again. Great start to both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals.
Although I would argue 3 of the 4 teams realistically have as much rest as you could imagine having heading into the conference final. I mean, Colorado is over a week. Carolina got 12 days, and Vegas nearly got a week.
No, I understand, but I'm just talking quality of play and competitiveness.
Yes.
Seemingly, the NBA always gets better, and hockey doesn't seem to have that same luck. We'll see. Hopefully they do. I mean, man, it would be great if we end up with, I think Keith Smith said it best yesterday. I'm hoping for 7 because I'm greedy. I want more of this.
Right.
Well, I'd like 4 7-game series between the conference finals in hockey and basketball. That would be ideal for not only what we do for a living, but for me as a sports fan. That's what I'm rooting for too.
So San Antonio took game 1 of the Western Conference Finals on the road. Boy, Cleveland had game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals on the road. Had it. And by the way, talk about why it is you should never bet. Can you believe if you had the Cavs and the points last night, you lost? I mean, at what point in the second half of that game did you think you were going to have the Cavs and what was it, 6.5, 7.5, something like that? And you lost? Oh, for goodness sakes. Because they get outscored by 11 in overtime. Oh, my goodness. What a bad beat.
And everything relatively even about it. The Cavs fired up a lot more 3-pointers, but the shots were pretty even. The Knicks had more rebounds. They did have 10, as the Cavs had all those free throws against Detroit, the Knicks were the team that went to the line more last night. So that's something to me that bears watching of how this series goes, because Cleveland was the team that got to the line far more in the Detroit series. They didn't make any in Game 7 and still blew them out. But last night, the Knicks getting to the line quite a bit more.
Well, two things at work, unless you think one of them is a bias towards the Knicks from the officials, is the Knicks, as we talked about, the Knicks were driving the ball to the basket. I mean, Brunson is driving the ball. And for whatever reason, Cleveland settled for threes last night.
Right. No.
And they didn't hit enough of them late.
Right. It's just something to me that bears watching.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And I don't care if it's a ref bias, if it's just the way the game goes, if it's the style of the game. But Cleveland was at the line in the final 4 games like 60 some more times than Detroit. They were minus 11 last night. I think that will impact this series. That's really my point there. No matter how it's done, Cleveland was getting to the line a lot against Detroit. Will they change their style at all in Game 2 late? Because you're right, they settled for a lot of threes and they weren't making them.
And so the Knicks, how would you grade the Knicks last night? A C? Compared to how they were playing when they won 7 in a row?
A C, but they aced the exam, if you know what I mean, because they kind of just walked through the process and then they went, oh, we've got to cram for this exam all night and we're going to do really well on it. I mean, that would be my grade for them.
Oh, so did they get a C on the main test, but they aced the extra credit? Okay. Did you ever in college, did you ever get the occasional teacher give you an extra credit portion?
No.
Really? I had a couple of those. So, all right. But Knicks have now won 8 in a row. It's got to stop sometime. Sure looked as if it was going to be last night. Sure should have been last night.
It should have. And whether it was a coaching decision to leave Harden in the game when perhaps he shouldn't have been playing, or it was just brilliance by Brunson in the fourth quarter, whatever you want to give it, the Knicks able to get Game 1 and take a lead in the series. Hockey gets back going tonight. We have a baseball team up the road that refuses to lose, David.
Never again.
Tarps off again. And the Rays take care of business. We'll talk about that. Catch up with everything you missed with the starting 5. That's 25 minutes away on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Pelican. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Puck, you know I don't care what you guys say in the chat room, but man, oh man, you I mean, go to a massage parlor or something, bro. You gotta do something to give yourself a happy ending. Do whatever you gotta do. You're just you're negative. So I guess if they were 2-19, that means they went or they went 8 of 13 at the end of the game. That's pretty good. I mean, because they were 10 of 32 for the game. I'm looking at the stats. So it was an unreal comeback. It was an unreal game. Damn near historic in terms of a comeback. But you want to go with negativity, you go with negativity. But you need something to put you in a good mood, my man. I don't get it. Every day you come with high heat of how much everything sucks. Okay. I don't get it. Empire, I'm rooting for the Cavs, and I'm rooting for the Cavs hard. I can't root for New York anything. I can't. I'm just looking at your comments, Empire. They're just, every day you come with high heat of negativity. You don't come with high heat of positivity. That is true. I'm sorry. Great. That 3 words. The rest is you're just trash basketball every day. I'm wrong. You're super positive, Puck. I apologize. You're a glowing ray of light in the chat room with your positivity. I guess I read that wrong.
I don't know who said it in the chat room, but in hoops, NBC has the West, ESPN has the East. Mike Breen, who's the voice for ESPN, is also the voice of the Knicks. Knicks fans are thrilled that for as long as they're in the playoffs, Mike Breen will be doing every one of their games because ESPN is the finals. So ESPN the East in hoop. ESPN has the West in hockey. Sean McDonough in Colorado tonight, unfortunately.
I think he's gotten better.
Well, he was very enthusiastic in Game 7.
I think he's gotten a lot better. I do. I think he's figured out how he wants to call a hockey game. He's a good play-by-play guy. Yeah, Empire, it doesn't matter to me. And it's not about I'm with you. I like this Knicks team. I just don't like all the hype that goes with New York. It's like everything they do, they're the greatest at. So it's just hard for me to ever root for New York teams in anything. Always has been. If I were to pick a New York team I like the best, it's probably the Yankees of all things. And that doesn't make any sense. It's just that I usually know more Yankees than any other baseball team.
And I think it's all Stephen A. Smith's doing. Because while there are other people on TV that are Knicks fans, they ain't like him.
Let's hope we get 10 years of him, Javier. My only fear for him is just injury because that body looks so damn frail. Coming back in 5.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller _Moulton on X. Their magic number is 112. Is it too early for that?
Just a touch.
Okay.
David, if we
Damn.
can't do countdowns in college and pro football till we're at double digits, I can't allow you, even in the baseball hour, to say something that silly.
Okay. They've won 20 of 24, okay? I got the fever. And I don't need more cowbell. I got the fever. I switched off my Knicks last night to make sure that the Rays held on against Baltimore.
Wow. And David, I will say, with the wins the last two nights and the Braves losing 2 nights ago, the Atlanta Braves right now have a winning percentage of 673. The Tampa Bay Rays have a winning percentage of 681.
That's right, Mark. That's right. For the second morning, the Tampa Bay Rays have the best record in baseball.
Yes, they do. And after a barrage of runs 2 nights ago, last night they got back to Rays baseball. Timely hitting and what else? Really good pitching.
Yep. And getting the key outs late from the bullpen and then tacking on 2 late in the 8th to make sure that, well, they could breathe a little bit in the 9th. Have you seen the section?
Yeah, tarps
Okay.
off. That's what I was yelling. Tarps
Yeah.
off. That's what they're
Yeah.
calling it. Yeah.
Right. And it's growing. It was bigger last night than the night before.
I'm telling you right now, you got to give Oklahoma State and the Oklahoma fan credit for this phenomenon because
Yep.
he's the guy that did it. He went with his sister. She's the one that had Oklahoma State season tickets. Her husband couldn't go for whatever reason. She dragged her brother to the game. They made a $10 bet that he wouldn't go up into the 300s and rip his shirt off and start waving it. He did. She never paid the bet, and plenty joined him. Then it went around college football. Then the Cardinals did it, and now the Rays have done it. And back-to-back, Rays wins against the Orioles, back-to-back, tarps off in the outfield.
They keep every other inning. They used a drone shot for these guys. They broke out the drone for these guys with the shirt off last night. And every inning or two, they'd keep going out there. There'd be more guys with their shirt off. It was awesome. Here's what's awesome. They're 17 games above 500. I mean, this is when you start doing first off, if they play one game below 500 the rest of the way, they'll win 89 games. In the American League, barring the unforeseen, that'll easily host the wild card series. Okay, but seriously, I mean, the Rays could probably play below 500 from here and make the playoffs. I mean, I don't recommend them going 50 and 65. I mean, no reason to pull a Mets from last year. But, I mean, the Rays could be, put it this way, Mark, if the Rays go 55 and 60 the rest of the way, I mean, that's 84 wins? Something like that. If they go 55 and 60, the rest of the 87 wins, something.
80,
Okay.
55, what are they at? They're 32. So, yeah, that'd be 87 wins.
87
I don't know
wins.
why you got to be so negative. Why can't they win 100 games and win the division? Why are we so focused on hosting a wild card game? Why can't we just talk about a team taking down the Yankees while the Rays won with pitching and timely hitting? The Yankees won with a 3-run home run. I mean, they did what they do last night, too.
Yes, they did. A 3-runner and a 2-runner, and that's the only 2 hits we need. Thank you very
Right.
much. Yep, that's how we play, particularly at home. Okay. But listen, when the season started, if you had said to a Rays fan, hey, I'll give you a playoff spot, they would have said, I'd take it, even a 6 seed. Now, if you said, I'll give you a home field for the wild card series, I think Rays fan would have been like, oh my goodness, really? The 4 seed? That's outstanding. So, first things first. I mean, they have a 10-game lead on the 6th seed right now in the American League playoffs. A 10-game lead in the loss column on the team that would have the last American League playoff spot this morning. I mean, man, just keep banking those wins, baby. Are people going to watch a Rays-Yankees weekend series in the Bronx? The Yankees are bringing Garrett Cole back a week early. Why? His career numbers against the Rays are great. They're going to start him Friday in the Bronx against the Rays. Look at this. The Yankees calling up guys for the Rays.
Well, David, we've talked about this on this show for a while. If you were to actually ask Yankees players who their rival is in the division these days, I think more of them would say the Rays than the Red Sox. Now, for the fans, it's still New York, Boston. And we get it. We understand all the reasons why. But the Rays turned the corner and said, we ain't little brother anymore, in a spring training game against the Yankees, which now is like a decade ago.
2008.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Matt Garza. Yeah, 2008 was when they went to the World Series for the first time.
But it was in your spring training.
Yeah.
It was a high slide. Something happened at second base. And the Rays said, blank you, Yankees.
Enough's enough.
And the Rays have taken the Yankees seriously since. And because the Rays have had success, the Yankees have taken the Rays seriously pretty much ever since.
Not only that, you could tell that both teams really aren't fond of one another because they'll do the hit batsman thing. They will not allow the other team to get one up on them when it comes to hitting guys. This is like Dusty Baker La Russa and an old Cubs Cardinals or Cardinals Red series. No. Don't care if it wasn't intentional. Don't care. You pitched inside. You got my guy. We're getting one of yours. I mean, you know it's coming. And you ain't going to like who we picked, by the way.
But Diaz, 8 dingers, that's top 20 in the American League. He's, I think, 3rd in hits. He's 5th in batting average. He's been terrific.
He got hit by a fastball on the hands in the 8th. Haven't heard about x-rays. And he got hit on both hands. It ricocheted from his left hand and clipped a little bit of his right. He came out of the game as a precaution. These are very important x-rays.
So, obviously, Bears watching, but he responsible for a bunch of runs last night, and they actually took him out for a pinch runner who scored as well.
Right.
So, after getting hit by the pitch, so he was responsible for, I think, 60-70% of their offense last night from a run production standpoint. They only had 7 hits, but they were timely hits.
And he got on base 3 times. He was responsible for 3 of their 4 runs. Yep. Top of the order, getting it done. Got a couple of slap and, Punch and Judy guys. Can you say that anymore?
Punch and Judy? Yeah, I think you can. If you can't, go to another show. And they play really good defense.
Yes.
I mean, that's the other thing here. When you decide that you're going to be a small ball type team, which largely they are, they're not playing this the way they can't play it the way the Yankees play it. But they only give you 27 outs.
And Cedric Mullins is hitting a $180 in center field, Mark, but he's catching everything.
So a big weekend series with the Yanks and the Rays as the Rays keep on keeping on. Basketball off to a great start Anything else you missed, we've got it next. The starting five.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. And your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ambient, the only thing I'm going to throw out there is the weakest link on your team is your goaltending. I just wouldn't take your goaltending for granted.
I disagree, Ambient. They're going to win 10-0, 6-0, 8-0, and 42-1 in Game 4. They're the greatest team ever. Jokic is the greatest big man ever, and the Denver Broncos are the standard in the league. How old's Mahomes? I'm curious because I was about to type him. I don't consider him like the young. I mean, he's been in the league for quite a while now. Is he on the? Because I was thinking of the young guys out there, and they all play for bad teams right now because that's the way the draft goes. I mean, I was thinking Genty and Travis Hunter, and I'm just.
I think he's younger than Ohtani, though.
Well, yeah, that's probably right. Empire, not even close. You're at best a 7 to Michael, who's an 11 on the Spinal Tap stage. These go to 11 because he doesn't even understand that reference because he has no idea what movie I'm talking about because he's so young.
Ohtani turns 32 in July.
But I will say in baseball, though, you've got Skeens and you've got all these guys that have been called up. Baseball's chock full of young talent.
Yes. Mahomes is 30. He'll turn 31 3 days after the opener. Baseball is really fun right now. God, I hope they don't screw it up. Everybody seemingly has a young guy you want to watch play.
Right.
I hate to say this, but the Reds, and I know they've made 2 attempts at him already, but the Reds need to do what the Nats did with Juan Soto. They put like $450 million in front of him. He said no. They sold him to the Padres and got a haul. And the Reds need to do that with Ellie. I don't know, Coffin Ball, with their pitching, if they were to do at the deadline what the Mariners did last year, that could change everything. Go out and get 2 bats for half a season.
Yeah, that's what I gather too, Empire. I've got my buddy that's got Red season tickets. He says it's fast. People are into it. It's fun from an in-stadium experience.
Did you see the last Diaz moment the other day?
No.
First inning, Salvador Perez challenges a pitch, overturned. Second pitch, overturned, challenged, overturned. Third pitch, he doesn't challenge. Les Diaz behind the plate kind of leans right next to him and says, "Are you sure?"
Coming back in 5.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. On this hump day, we'll get over it together. Seth Everett, JP Peterson joining us on the show. Got a little this, little that. Some of which you know, some of which I'm sure you don't. It's all coming up next on
The Starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting 5.
Well, number one's the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, and, well, game 1 goes to Cleveland. Oh, wait. You mean they lost? They were up 14 after 3. They were up 22 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. And then here come the Knicks. Jalen Brunson went nuts. And the Knicks found their groove. Cleveland still should have got the horse into the barn, but they didn't. Knicks forced overtime at 101. Outscored Cleveland 14-3 in the extra 5 minutes. And the Knicks, one of their greatest comebacks in playoff history, and they just stole one. 115-104 against the Cavs. And they lead the best of 7 Eastern Conference Finals, 1 spit. Game 2, Western Finals tonight, 8:30 Eastern on NBC. You got the Spurs up 1-0 on OKC, but the Thunder are 6.5-point favorites tonight at home to win Game 2 and even the series. By the way, news broke after dinner last night. Jason Kidd fired by the Mavs. What was it 3 years ago they were in the finals? And they got rid of their best player and their coach since. New GM. He's the guy who was the GM of the Raptors when they won the title, Yurgi. He came in, said, time we move in a new direction. All righty then. See where Jason Kidd lands. He's a survivor. NHL tonight. Game 1 Western Conference Final. Vegas at Colorado. 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Avs are 5-0 at home. Golden Knights are 4-2 on the road. Listen, is Colorado better than Vegas? Yes. just going to throw this out there, though. I don't know, Mark, how many teams in the league can match the Avs up the middle the way Vegas can. Okay, they are very good at the center position, and their centers are two-way players. So, I mean, the matchup within the matchup, Marner against McKinnon. That'll be fun to watch. Also watch and see how healthy Cale Makar is tonight. He got hurt late in the Minnesota series. It's either a left shoulder, the left rib cage. You know it's hockey. They'll tell you it's a right knee injury. But we'll see how healthy Cale Makar is tonight. Game 1 for the Avs. Baseball. The Rays did it again. They've won 20 of 24. Diaz with a homer and 2 RBIs. He did get hit by a pitch in the 8th. X-rays pending. Got hit on both hands. Tampa Bay with 2 in the 8th pulled away and beat Baltimore 4-1. There's still 3 up on the Yankees. Yankees got a Ben Rice 2-run homer in the 6th to break a 3-all tie and held off Toronto 5-4. Wow, history in Kansas City last night, or at least it feels that way if you're a Red Sox fan. First time in 10 games they scored more than 3 runs. They pulled away late and beat KC 7-1. Okay, Duran and Contreras each had 3 RBIs. Guardians beat the Tigers again 4-3. Cleveland's won 7 of 8 to create a little cushion in the Central. The Marlins and Braves were tied at 4 in the 8th. Atlanta with 3 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. Braves double up Miami 8-4. By the way, 7,700 on hand. They've drawn like 16,000 and change for the first 2 games of the Braves coming to town.
I mean, I don't look at the Braves as a draw in Miami.
Huh.
I
See, okay.
I mean,
The Mets, maybe?
the Mets, the Phillies would be the teams that I would think would draw to the National League, and the Dodgers should draw everywhere. But
Right.
people
Okay.
aren't going to Florida or to Miami Marlin games. They don't care. I mean, you remember, I don't know, a decade or so ago, probably longer than that, you asked me what franchise could pick up and move and no one would notice. And at that time, I said the Florida Panthers. I think you could say that about the Miami Marlins. No one would care.
I don't disagree. Acuna, by the way, came back for the Braves and he scored 3 runs. Mets had a 5-0 lead and then gave up a little league grand slam. Well, it was an inside the park grand slam. Guy hit one to the top of the wall. Mets outfielder got a glove on it, but it caromed off the wall. And the one outfielder was more concerned about how the other outfielder was, and he didn't go chase after the ball. By the time they did, well, James Wood rounded the bases for an inside the park grand slam.
I'd send the other outfielder down for that. I'm not like, no. This isn't Little League. What's your job? We pay you pretty well. I've got trainers that can check on the player. You make the play on the ball. You don't quit on the ball, ever. I'd yell at my daughter if she did that. I would.
So the Mets had a 5-0 lead, and the Nats scored 9 in a row and won 9-6. Reds beat the Phillies 4-1. Chase Burns with 6 terrific innings, snapping a 3-game skid. You know, this Mizorowski guy, he got put on the All-Star team last year as a joke. All right. He had appeared in 5 games, and he threw hard, and Manfred just said, put him on the team as an injury replacement. He might be the best pitcher outside of Paul Skeens in the National League right now. And that's saying something because he's pitching better than Chris Sale. Mizorowski, 6 shutout innings, and Milwaukee beat the Cubs 5-2. That's your first place, Milwaukee Brewers. Remember when they had lost 8 in a row like 3-4 weeks ago? Yeah. This team is remarkable. You know, the Brewers had the most wins in the National League last year. Wow. What a great organization.
Mizorowski leads the league in strikeouts, third in earned run average at 1.9, just for what it's worth.
I mean, you know, I think Skeens right now would get the start in the All-Star game, probably more on reputation, but Mizorowski's outpitched him.
And he throws more in triple digits.
He does.
I mean, he throws when they list the hardest pitches of the year. He's all over that list.
Listen, this is a real goober moment, but if you ever get a chance to watch a Brewers game, if Mizorowski's pitching, first batter of the game, usually at some point ends up laughing because Mizorowski's first 3-4 pitches will be like 103, 104.
Right.
And the leadoff hitter's laughing. He's talking to the catcher. He's just laughing. He's like, what do you want me to do with that? Mentioned Milwaukee in first. Cubs a half a game back, as are the Cardinals. They got an Yvonne Harper. Or is that Herrera? Man, I got to get new glasses. All
There's
right.
no doubt, David, because if his name's Yvonne Harper, that would be something.
Yeah, it's Herrera.
No, I know. But I mean,
Yeah.
Yvonne Harper, that just,
Right.
If Mr. and Mrs. Harper, what are you going with? Keith, Kevin? No, Yvonne. It just
Right.
doesn't really compute there.
No. Anyway, Yvonne Herrera with a 3-run walk-off homer in the 10th. Cardinals beat the Pirates 9-6. So the Dodgers beat Mason Miller, the Padres all-everything closer in the 9th inning. He came in a tie game, and the Dodgers scratched out a run, and they beat the Padres 5-4 to regain first place in the West. How big is tonight's Dodgers-Padres game? Ohtani's pitching, and he's agreed to hit. And Ohtani has basically said he will take the days off from hitting when he pitches this year, and his ERA is sub-1. But he will hit tonight for the Dodgers. Arizona scored 4 in the 9th, including Ketel Marte's 3-run walk-off homer. Diamondbacks 5-3 over the Giants. 2 in the 9th for the White Sox. They beat Seattle 2-1. 4 pitchers combined on a 1-hitter for the White Sox. A's are back to 500. They lead the West by a game. They beat the Angels 14-6. Paredes hit a 2-run homer in the first for the Astros. That's all they needed. They beat the Twins 2-1. Kumar Rocker took a shutout into the 8th. Beat Colorado 10-0. And I mentioned it earlier. Yankees will activate Garrett Cole for Friday night. He will pitch against the Rays in the Bronx. The last time he pitched was against the Dodgers in the 2024 World Series. NFL. Some of what was expected happened. Nashville awarded Super Bowl 64 unanimously, by the way. Minneapolis awarded the 2028 draft. Rashee Rice. We found out 2 things yesterday. One, he violated his probation by getting caught failing a drug test. Apparently, he smoked pot. He's not allowed to. So he's going back to jail for 30 days. That apparently starts next week. However, he also had some cleanup surgery on his right knee. For that, he's going to miss 2 months. They don't know if he'll be ready for the start of training camp or not. Mark, the NFL did something yesterday that I can't imagine one fan is in support of. Not one. Unbeknownst to most of us, teams could insist that there were 1 or 2 games that could not be flexed over to international games. So like Green Bay obviously said to the league, yeah, don't put a Bears or Vikings game internationally, okay? Come on now. That game's got to be at Lambeau. Yeah, the NFL owners yesterday said, yeah, that no longer exists. Any game can be flexed internationally. I mean, how much do you want to honk off your season ticket holders? Are you really going to send your best rivalry games overseas? But the NFL is hell-bent on this. They said, by the way, apparently the way the NFL looks at it, they have 8 international games this year, that the Jags have their regularly scheduled game in London, even though the Jags have 2. But next year, they're going to have 10 games. And with the Jags, it could be 11. So they are all in on these international games. And JSN, who was the Offensive Player of the Year, he was mailed the Defensive Player of the Year trophy. He took a picture of it, and he's not happy. And the NFL said, yeah, that's on us. Sorry. College hoops. Did you see what LSU did?
Oh, yeah, I did.
So they have 6 transfers. One of them played the entire year last year in the G League.
Played in NBA preseason games, but then has been played at NBA preseason games, has been traded in the NBA, played in the G League for the year, and now is going back to college with Rodney Dangerfield.
Well, they had a G League guy who played the whole year in the G League, but then they had the 2025 Big East Player of the Year, R.J. Lewis, who was traded to the Celtics. Okay, he did put on a Celtics uniform 3 times, but it was preseason, as you mentioned. Yeah, they signed him.
Right.
Even though we're pretty sure he's not eligible. But they're just going to start the fight. And the PGA, I'm sorry, what?
I said, we'll see.
And the PGA Tour, okay, they talked about they want to be in bigger cities. Apparently they want to create 3 new events, and they've narrowed it down to 6 cities: Boston, Philly, Denver, Nashville, San Fran, and Seattle. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett, J.P. Peterson, coming up later on the show.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup, at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most: your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So if 2 of 19 is crap, what's 8 of 11? Because they ended up, that's how they finished. Daughter had things going this weekend, so we have not made it to the court yet. I don't know if we will this weekend either. But she's all in to doing it with me whenever the moment presents itself. But she's going to be with a friend on Friday, so she won't be here Saturday morning. We'll get there. We're not too worried about it. She's only got sports 5 nights a week right now. I can give her Saturday and Sunday mornings off at the moment. Puck, I don't care who's on here as long as you don't attack my children. All I'm telling you is that you get mad at me when I tell you you're being negative all the time and argue with me about it and say you're not, you're being a realist. Well, your realism is all negativity. I read 90% of the things that are said in there. I really do. There's a bagel place right down the road for me that just opened. I wonder if I'll ever try it. Wow, good for her. That's awesome, Adam. That's absolutely awesome. They're good too. But they won the conference again. That's a good program. Good for her. You got to admit it. Everything okay, Javier?
listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton, at least on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So earlier in the broadcast, you said that at one point, ESPN had the Knicks win probability at 0.1%.
That's correct, David.
I didn't think I'd find a stat as good or better than that during the rest of the show today. But I nominate, however, that since 1998, that was Jordan's last year with the Bulls, the second three-peat. So this will be the 29th NBA playoffs since that season. 595 teams entering last night had trailed by 22 or more points in the fourth quarter. 595. You know how many had won? One. Apparently, the league was 1-594 when trailing by 22 points or more in the fourth quarter. And then that happened last night. And I will say, are we having more of that lately in sports? I mean, where games truly never seem over. NFL, college football, college basketball, hockey, NBA. I don't know. It just seems, we're keeping track of everything now, so maybe it's being pointed out more. But I have to admit, Mark, I watch things a little longer than I used to before declaring things over.
No, I think, we've seen a lot of it in hoop. More than I recall. You had the numbers there to back it up. So the way teams shoot threes now, the amount of threes taken, because we've had the three-pointer for quite a while. So we can't just say it's the three-point shot, because the three-point shot's been in the game now for what?
Oh, it was in the game in the late 80s.
Right. So, damn near 40 years, we've had a three-point shot in the game. But it's the last, decade in which the analytics have shifted the way offenses run, that they run from outside in now.
Right.
I mean, we kick out to a three. We have a fast break, and three guys are pulling up outside the arc, and instead of a layup, we're dishing for the open three. That's just the game that's played now a lot of the time. And when teams are shooting 53s in a game, that on both sides, one team goes cold quickly, the other gets hot. It's amazing how quickly a 15-point, 18-point lead can become 9. And that's why, last night the Knicks were terrible. They had 4 made threes through 3 quarters. They were 4 of 23. They went 6 for their last 8. That changes the dynamic of a game. And obviously they do the same thing at the collegiate level. So there's your basketball. David, I don't think, baseball teams used to kind of wave the white flag. They don't do that anymore. What's happened in baseball? I mean, we spent a segment talking about the Rays playing the game differently right now than virtually every other team in the sport. How did the Yankees win last night? 3-run home run and a 2-run home run. Well, all of a sudden you're down 7-1 in baseball. You get a pitcher that's a little wild. He's got to stay in for 3 batters. He walks a couple of batters. Home run. We're back in the game. And football, which was a run-first game for all of our lives in the last, I don't know, is it 10 years? Is it 15 years? But now we've never thrown the ball more. Everybody's 3 wide, 4 receivers. That's their normal offense. You know, when a team goes with 12 personnel 65% of the time, they're an enigma in the league.
No, I know. A 3-score lead, even in the fourth quarter. You're like, well, if we get one quickly, if we can get the ball back twice, we can still win this thing. Whereas, before, I mean, forget about it. But each of the last 2 years in the college basketball tournament, I mean, Duke is just flat blown wins in one in the Final Four and, one to get to the Final Four, right? I mean, just with 5-star players on the floor, and they've just flat blown leads down the stretch of games that, the team losing had a 2 to 3% chance of winning at best.
And maybe this is way off base with college and certainly with pro a little bit, but there's no longer an intimidation factor in sports. Not by the athlete to the other athlete. If you think about it, the elite player in damn near every sport has been playing against the other elite players since they were 12 or 13 years old. It is the difference between the high school player and now the AAU player, if you know what I mean, in basketball. In hockey, they're playing travel hockey before they're teenagers all over the country. They don't go up against a team and feel like that they're going to lose ever.
But here's how I think sports have changed. We were talking about it yesterday when we were talking about the most cursed or the most miserable sports cities, Buffalo, Cleveland, Minneapolis, etc. And we talked about the 13-second game when Josh Allen threw a touchdown to Gabe Davis with 13 seconds to go up 3 on the Chiefs in the second round of the playoffs, and the game should have been over. But the Bills blew it. The defense that Sean, played was terrible, and the Chiefs completed 2 passes and kicked a 50-yard field goal and ended up winning in overtime, and the Bills, in many ways, haven't recovered. But if you've seen that tape recently, Nance and Romo declare the game over. I mean, Allen completed that pass to Gabe Davis to win the game. Tony Romo talks about Josh Allen has his first road playoff win. Okay? They're going to host the Bengals next week in the AFC Championship game. I mean, the game's over. And then it was only, okay, Chiefs got the ball and what have you. And they said, well, do they have enough time for 2 plays and what have you? They're not giving them a chance to win, but they're just, they're just kind of going through the motions. We got to play this one out, blah, blah, blah. And then after the first completion, they both realize, holy blank, there's a lot of life left in this game. But I mean, they both declared it over, and Nance rarely does something like that. But they both declared it over. They got shots of Josh Allen's parents in the stands. Oh, look how happy they are, blah, blah, blah.
Nance was just so happy he was finally going to get away from Romo for the rest of the day.
I think they still liked one another at this point.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not, but I think so.
And that was that before the new dynamic kickoff?
Yes, it was.
I mean, that was pre-new dynamic kickoff. That was kicking into the end zone. You start on the 25.
Correct, sir. Yep. So, I don't know. It just seems as if games, I don't know. I'm sticking with games and broadcasts at least a commercial break or two, or even 15, 20 minutes longer than I ever have before. I just don't think anything's over anymore.
No, and I mean, even in games that are over, I stick with them longer. Like the Game 7 Pistons Cavs, I'm going, well, Detroit's got to make a run here at some point. Everybody makes a run. They never did.
Right.
But sometimes the team that's playing well just keeps on playing well. But last night, that wasn't the case. Under 8 minutes to go, that game for years was over.
Yeah. And didn't it feel over last night?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we kept watching because that's what you do. And well, let's make sure they get the horse in the barn. But they are walking the horses to the barn right here. I mean, and the barn's getting pretty close. And then all of a sudden, it's like, why don't we just pull the horses over here and just kind of see how this plays out?
Hey, David, the way the Sabres goaltending was playing, I'm texting you as Buffalo's taking a big lead on Montreal going, well, I mean, they better get to 6 or they're not winning this game.
Right.
Even in hockey, we question it from time to time. So, yes, I think more teams are in it. I think it has to do with, the other thing, particularly in football, David, the way interference is called now, they would never call that late the way they do now. Hockey will call penalties late the way they've never done it before. Basketball, I think there are more fouls late than there used to be. I mean, every rule change has benefited the offense in sports. Every single one. There's not been one change of the rules that's made it easier for the defense. Not one. I mean, even in baseball, reliever has to do what? He's got to face a few guys before you can pull him. Can't go 1-1-1 anymore.
By the way, I don't want this to sound condescending, but I'm very proud of you there. Okay, you've given your take about the NBA and late fouls. Okay, because there are certain grudges that you still hold. You still hold a grudge against Kent Herbeck for 1987. Okay, well, I mean, I thought you'd still hold a grudge against that fake foul against Lambeer on Kareem in 88, which cost the Pistons a world championship. And you just glossed right over that there. I'm impressed.
It was back in a time in which you had to play the champions before you could beat the champions. You had to work your way through these things. And I'm working my way through lots of things, David. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That one slipped past the goalie.
What was that?
A commercial that shouldn't have ran.
Gotcha. By the way, don't quote me, and I have not seen this, but I think the one in 549 stat was the Celtics come back against the New Jersey Nets.
By the way, I something's not working on the sportsmediawatch.com website. Like you can't access it from their posts, but they posted, around midnight that the PGA had ratings and viewership highs. Think about it. But I mean, there's no one on the leaderboard. Aaron Rye won the damn thing over John Rahm. He's not wow.
And last year, Scheffler won. And didn't he beat Rahm? Wasn't it back-to-back second-place finishes for Rahm in the PGA? And yeah, and this did 5-6% more. Did 8 million apparently at peak. Paula, do you mean English?
Well, Paul is very happy because her husband's of Indian descent, and he's of Indian descent, even though he's from England. That's what Paul is excited about. I don't know if they really moved the dial, Paula, but I got it.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
I'll have to ask my doctor in 2 weeks when I go see him, Paul, if he was watching the PGA. And I'm pretty sure I'm guessing right with Dr. Kamani. KH something. All I know is that when I have to send him a message, it's very easy to find his name in the directory because not many names begin KH.
So it's not Yvonne Harper?
No, it's not Yvonne Harper.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Listen, for those of you who have heard Seth Everett weekly on this show for over 15 years, he may be more happy doing our show today than he has ever been before. Because apparently his beloved football team won a championship that they had never won before.
Well, they not in a long time, right? I think it's been a while since they've won the Premier League. I think they've won it before, haven't they?
I can't keep what league and what championship they're playing for straight. They were vying for 2 titles. One, I guess they hadn't won before, and one they hadn't won in a while.
Right. They hadn't won. They've never won the Champions League. They did win. It's their first EPL title in 22 years, David.
Gotcha. Okay. And of course, he's only been a fan for about 5.
Right.
So, he's a long-suffering fan here. Right. And long-suffering. I mean, half a decade long. So
That's pushing it. Has it been 5 years?
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's close. It's certainly not more than that.
No, that's for certain.
So, but I thought he discovered this during the pandemic.
You know what? You now that you say that, I believe you're right.
So 6 tops, but probably 5, because it probably took him a year to figure out which team he was going to, it had to be somebody good. He had to figure out who was good consistently. And so anyway.
That's a bit of a shot right there. I've got to be
honest
with you.
That's damn right it is.
That's a shot. And I mean, I know there was a family reason behind it. Now he's not married to that woman anymore, but I have to say that doesn't really stop anything. I'll give him that, because I'm obviously no longer married to my first wife, because I'm very much in love with my wife now. But my first wife was a Georgia Bulldog grad. Her whole family are Georgia football fans. I still have a soft spot for the Dogs. I don't care that if they win or lose, but I enjoy watching them. I loved going to the games. I did. It was, it was my first experience to do the SEC on a regular basis. And trust me, when I started doing SEC games, in fact, the entire time I was going, they were not good. I mean, I was there for Jim Donnan. I don't even know if they had got to Richt by the time we had called it quits. So I get it. Your family can make you root for a certain. Now, I mean, it's not like I was a Steeler fan before I met my wife. Now I'm a damn season ticket holder, for crying out loud.
Not sure you're a fan, though. I think you're just a businessman and you fake it around her, but we'll keep that to ourselves.
Now, I will say, David, and I've told this story before, when I was a kid, my best friend was Terry Carpenter. Terry and I are still friends to this day. And ironically, Terry became a police officer. And he's now retired from the force and works in security. But when we first met at around the age of 7, my mother got a new job, and his mom and my mom worked together, and I started hanging out. He had a younger brother, and I started hanging out with them quite a bit. And TC and I became fast friends quickly. We both loved sports. And if you think about it, we're 7, 8 years old. This is the mid to late 70s. Well, who's good in football? The Cowboys and the Steelers. He was a Roger Staubach guy. Ironically, he would become a police officer. I liked Bradshaw. And even in the electronic football game, where the two guys grabbed arms and did circles for the entire play. One of my Christmas presents was the AFC Central, because I liked the Steelers. So I've always had I was a Steeler guy over a Cowboy guy. And they were, I think, the two teams, I know the Raiders were there and the Dolphins were there and the Washington Redskins were there, but those were the two teams. So
they were the dominant ones, yes.
I've had an affinity for this because the Lions sucked. So I've had an affinity for the Steelers for nearly 50 years.
So Seth Everett will be borderline insufferable when he joins us in about 35 minutes. And JP Peterson in a little over than an hour, not only to talk about the best team in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, but whether or not their future is going to be in Tampa, and there's 2 big votes coming up. And JP, who had a few minutes before one of the groups that's voting about a week or so ago, we'll talk to him about his passion speech, which, by the way, go on X and find it if you haven't. He did a great job. And he wore a Rays jersey and a Rays hat, too. He went all in.
Is it a county commission meeting or a city council meeting?
I don't know which one it was. If it was Tampa or Hillsborough County.
He wore a cap?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was all Rays. All right. And he had notes to keep himself, he stuck to them. He didn't go off on a tangent. He didn't pull a Miller and Moulton. He stuck to his notes. Okay. He abided by the time limit. I don't know if it was 3 minutes or 5 minutes or what have you, but he got it in there and he made all the points and an impassioned plea to keep baseball in Tampa Bay. But JP Peterson to join us coming up in a little over an hour.
Have you ever spoke at a city/county commission meeting?
Yes.
In that regard, like to give your opinion on whatever, not like you were asked to talk to him and give sports stories. Like you basically said, my name's David Moulton and I want my 3 minutes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it in Scranton. Okay. They were doing things to affect the pizza delivery business. And I just told them how much money they were costing me.
Good for you. I've never even attended one of those meetings, let alone thought about speaking at one.
Well, the funny thing was I had covered a few before I,
Right, yeah, I can see that.
So.
Because I got a text last night from a mutual friend of ours that was at we both live in the same village, and he was at the town meeting last night. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing there?
Well, I mean, if you're not going to speak up, then I don't want to hear you complain.
I complain every 2 to 4 years with, when I vote.
I know, but you vote at least.
Yes, I do. Never miss
vote. So, I have no problem listening to you, vent. I vote. You have no problem listening to me vent, unless the music's about ready to start playing and the commercial break's over. Otherwise, we're good.
Yeah, that's a new one for Miller and Moulton, since we are running the entire broadcast now, which is something we really had never done up until the point that I got back from Tampa. We are in complete control. We've always needed a radio station to facilitate some portion of our show. And that means there's a producer listening, and he will sometimes not pot our microphones up while we're yakking. And I've had to cut, and David doesn't like it. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've gotten not a bad look, but I've gotten that raised eyebrow. Like, what do you mean you're telling me to stop talking? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. We're coming back. There's voices and music and things that need to be said, and we don't need to hear you on top of it. And I've gotten that raised eyebrow. Like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm not done with my point.
It's usually because you're staring at the clock. So you got in what you had to say, and I didn't get in all of what I had to say.
How about saying this? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Joseph, we've gotten some mixed information, but apparently yesterday they ran the first hour of our show live, and then I guess they ran another hour of our show, but they ran it like at 10 a.m. I don't know. Yeah, Javier. Hope you get better, man. Hope you get out of the hospital soon.
Sorry to hear that, buddy. Hang in there. Well, this shirt's blue, I think. I'm not sure if it's blue or black. I think it's blue. I wear red and blue shirts. Left
It
Twix.
looks blue to me.
I think it's blue. I wear red and blue shirts. Left Twix. I have more blue shirts than red shirts. That's just that you know. It's not even true anymore. I actually added a few more reds because it was the color I probably had the least of. I don't do a lot of black shirts, though. I will say that. Too hot. I have one. I never wear it. I've been going with these new energy drinks. I like the blue slushy more than the cherry. I don't know if there's food coloring in them. I doubt it, but is that what you meant by red or blue?
I was wondering if you meant politically.
I'm sure that he did, David. That's why I'm answering the way that I am.
I was enjoying it.
I think people that are stuck on one or the other are as much as the problem as anything. Because when you are on one side and don't see any fault in your own side, that's a cult. All I know is that Costco gas was 58 cents cheaper a gallon than the stores yesterday. It was $3.99 at Costco. It was $4.57 on Daniels.
That's $7, $8 right there.
Right. I mean, that, yeah, when it's like 10 cents, it's $2. Like, really? Whatever. But I mean, damn near 60 cents a gallon. That's significant.
Yeah, Fitz,
Zero. Michael, that's zero. Zip, zilch, nada. Haven't owned a concert t-shirt since I was in my early 20s. Maybe not even then. I know I had a Rush and a Triumph from my first two. I don't know if I ever bought another one after that. Although I did hear they played the first Black Crowes show that was in Austin, Texas on the one of the Sirius channels, I think the Classic Rewind or whatever. Yeah. And I've heard them live, be it only one song, but they were in their heyday, and he was great. He didn't sound nearly as good. I mean, obviously he's old now, so.
I haven't bought a concert T-shirt since I was in my 20s.
And I mean, for me, early 20s, if I did it then. I think it's my teens.
And Fitzy, I'm also an independent. Have been for 30 years.
Like I've told everybody, I'm a registered Republican because in Florida, that's all that wins where I live. So I want to vote in the primaries. And that's the only reason.
I think both parties are a disgrace.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. That's when Seth Everett joins us. An hour from now, JP Peterson joins us on Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Moulton on X. Hey, can I just throw this out there? And it's not something that, do the rest of the show on, that type of deal, but just, we were talking earlier about stars, and some people have mentioned, what a remarkable time we're in sports right now, that Ohtani's one of a kind. When's the last time we saw somebody? I mean, he's leading baseball in ERA right now. Now, he's not hitting great. And for him, he's hitting well below average. But he's hitting and pitching at the same time in Major League Baseball. And he's been doing it for the whole 9 years he's been in the majors. I mean, when are we going to see this again? Never mind, he pitches at near an all-star level or an all-star level, and goodness knows what he's done at the plate. I mean, seriously, when do we think we're going to see an Ohtani again? And now we got this basketball guy. And it just kind of made me think, Mark. I don't know if any sports fan of the last 40 years would ever choose anyone besides Michael Jordan for the whole package. What they give you on the court, on the field, off the court, off the field, the championships, the money, everything. I don't know if we would pick anyone not named Michael Jordan. But since Michael, I mean, we've had a LeBron James come along. We've had a Steph Curry come along. I mean, could argue Steph Curry's changed the game more than Michael did.
And certainly more than LeBron. Is LeBron better? Yeah. Yes. Did Steph change the game more? Yes. He also, now, in my opinion, kind of ruined the game. I hate to say that, but he was so good at something, every team has tried to emulate what he's done, and there's only one of him.
And now we've got a Wemby. So since Jordan, we've had a LeBron, a Steph, and now a Wemby. Look at what we've had in baseball. I mean, Mike Trout was doing things that literally hadn't been done since players pre-World War II. I don't know if he was ever fully appreciated when he was doing it before he got hurt. And now we've got an Ohtani. We got a guy for the Brewers throwing 104 miles an hour. I mean, pick your sport. I mean, listen, you could love your Brady. You could love your Montana. This Mahomes guy is something else. Obviously his time has come and gone, but in golf, we had a Tiger. Oh, we don't know when we're ever going to get anything in that area code again. And I mean area code.
No, and obviously with Tiger, it wasn't just the golf. It was he was black. I mean, I'm sorry and he looked like an athlete.
Right.
At that time. Now they all spend time in the gym. They all look better athletically. But I mean, this was in the days of the John Daly's running around firing heaters. And Marco Mira, for crying out loud. This guy looked like, he looked like a guy that played in your Sunday foursome. So Tiger looked different in a lot of different ways. Also was charismatic, energetic, had a great smile. Steph was very likable. Not only great. And that's the thing. I think Wemby's got a little charisma to him. I do, David.
I do as well. Apparently he was upset finishing second to SGA for MVP. And that was part of what was behind 41-24 the other night. But, look at the level we have at hockey. For as great as Gretzky was, after all, they retired his number league-wide and called him the Great One. We got 2 or 3 guys playing in the league right now in which it looks like Gretzky, at least from a speed and strength standpoint, was playing a different sport compared to the level they're playing it at now. And I'm just wondering, has there been anybody that's come along in the last 30 years? Because I know Michael played the 2 years with the Wizards, but it was 28 years ago this spring that he, won his last title with the Bulls and he retired a second time. And we don't talk about the Wizards years, even though he played every game and averaged 20 points a game at 40. And yet we don't talk about it. But is there anybody you take, not named Michael, if you had to take one guy who's come along in the last 30 years? The whole package.
No, because LeBron, he had flaws that I don't think Michael had. He wasn't the killer that Michael was. And I don't know if any of them, he ended up shooting pretty well. But I think a lot of them were what we would perceive as mental, if you will. He didn't have that same killer instinct. There were a couple games in which he did. Michael seemingly had it every night. But and Keith Smith said it on the show yesterday. He said, if this keeps up, and that's the key there. When you watch Wemby, how often when you're enjoying the greatness, do you literally say out loud or to yourself or in your head and go, man, I hope he doesn't get hurt? Because every time I'm watching him, I'm waiting for something almost bad to happen because the body doesn't look, that big body doesn't look like it can keep doing it. It would be as if a giraffe were playing basketball. You're going to wait for the legs to break, if you know what I mean. It just doesn't make sense. And maybe that's on me.
Well, Jordan missed most of his second year in the league with a major knee injury. I think he played less than 20 games. And ironically, that was the postseason that he scored 49 and 63 in the Boston Garden on maybe the best Celtics team of all time. But, yeah, I know what you're getting at. Yeah, I get it. But, Mark, I find myself laughing sometimes when I watch Wemby. The way that Michael and Steph have just made guys look bad. I just laugh sometimes at Wemby. I'm just like, oh, this is unfair. How old is he again? 22? Holy blank.
And he's 7 feet 4 inches tall. That's again, right. I understand your point on Michael's injury, but lots of players Michael's size have been injured before and after and recovered.
Yep.
When I think of Wemby, I look at big men who, when they were injured, had a much more difficult time ever recovering from those injuries.
Yep.
I understand your point. I hope you understand mine. He's a unit.
I totally understand it. Yeah, he is. I totally understand it. My hope, though, is that medically, like Keith Smith also referenced Sabonis, that this is how people talked about Sabonis internationally. But by the time he came over and played in the NBA, he had blown out both Achilles. He had suffered knee injuries. He was lumbering up and down the court. You could see flashes of, wow, he's gifted. But for the most part, he became a big, strong guy with soft hands. But
this is the one thing that I think the old guy on the porch, and David and I can be guilty of that from time to time. You do have to recognize across sport the greatness that's out there.
I mean, I'm too serious. I can argue that Steph Curry has changed basketball the most since Wilt Chamberlain. Now, you may disagree. I'm not saying he's the best player since Wilt Chamberlain, but I could say he changed his sport for men and women, by the way. For the little guard who now is like, well, if I could learn to play like him, there's a role for me in this sport.
And you don't have to watch pro basketball to see it. Hell, you don't have to watch college basketball to see it.
No.
You can go watch an AAU tournament or a high school game and you'll see it there. That's what David's talking about. You can go watch a Class C game in the state of Michigan and go, that's the Steph Curry effect right there. Because while Michael made everybody buy shoes and want to play hoop, and you could have commercials that said, I want to be like Mike, unless you could jump out of the gym, that was impossible. But you can practice your shot over and over and over again.
Who's the greatest baseball player of all time? Would we say most people would vote Babe Ruth?
Tough for me to vote. I mean, I guess, but he tough for me not to, look at someone that's a little more modern.
Okay.
Because who would you rather have, Ruth's home run or May's on both sides?
Oh, no, I get you. No, I hear you. All right. Ohtani's going to turn 32 in July. Ohtani is just shy of 300 homers. What do we think he's going to get to? Think he gets to 500?
I do. I don't think that's a huge reach.
Now, what's interesting is he's only got 42 wins as a pitcher. Okay, he's only got 2 seasons in which he's won 10 or more games as a pitcher. He's had 2 of his seasons damn near wiped out because of injury. So, but I mean, if Ohtani finishes with over 100 wins and 500 home runs.
Over how many wins?
100.
Okay.
He's at 42 now.
I gapped like you didn't say 200. Right. That ain't
no. I mean, heck, Chris Sale just got to 150, I think. So if he can get to 100 wins and 500 homers, and he's just shy of 300 now, I mean, is he the greatest player of all time?
Well, then because we put so much on winning, and the Dodgers have the best team, it seems unlikely, even in baseball, to say that the Dodgers aren't going to win more titles. So not only would he accomplish those things, but they already have 2 World Series rings.
Right. He's got 2.
Right.
They won 3 this decade, but he's got 2.
Right.
Yeah.
He could end up, if I said he doubled that, I'm not going nuts, but if I just said he doubled that,
right.
Would you take if I put it at 1.5 more rings, where would you go with Ohtani?
I'd go over because they're spending $500 million a year. So I think they'll be the number 1 contender in their sport for the next few years.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's just not often that we talk about someone today as being the greatest of all time. Some people have talked about Tiger. And I know some people talked about LeBron, but that's mostly TV talking head stuff. Okay. I mean, Michael's the greatest of all time.
Now, there are a lot of younger people that would argue with you. I think they're wrong. I don't think they're just TV talking heads. I think there's a generation of kids who would argue with you. They're all under the age of 25 or 26, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I'd win that argument in less than 40 seconds. I would. I'd throw MJ stats at him in which he was first team all defense and defensive player of the year, on top of the fact he led the league in scoring. And oh, by the way, they won 6 titles. I honestly, 40 seconds, I could win that argument with anyone alive. But I mean, Wemby, Ohtani, Mahomes. I mean, he's only 30. I mean, are we watching the best of all time in certain sports and we don't realize it?
Miller and Moulton, the great 8 coming next. Seth Everett on the top of the hour, JP Peterson at the bottom. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live. Full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Seth and Carr, I see no camera, but that means you could just have the phone placed down. Are you there, sir? It's negative, Ghost Rider. Bath is full. There's
Nope.
Seth in the car. Hi, Seth. There's a steering wheel.
Yeah, but that's not the right. Hold on. Can
gotta
you hear
flip-
me?
I can hear you just fine. There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Now the kid was running late, and then I pulled off, and that's the one spot on the road where there's no service. So nothing was working.
That's funny.
So then I had to find another place, and all these other cars, they have someplace to go. And, I'm looking, and all I was looking for was the little 5G thing. Okay. But you can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly, Seth.
Good. I'm at some restaurant, and they're probably wondering why I am not getting out, but I'm not getting out. So screw that.
There it is. I mean, that's the. I thought they were red, and you have the Arsenal blue on. You confused me.
That's okay. It's a road jersey.
Oh, okay. Well, glad to know.
I thought the red was a little gaudy. Wasn't my look.
I would agree with that. I think the blue fits you better from a standpoint. Yes, I agree with that.
What a night. What a night. So much fun. We can do it on the show, but I did some research. Literally, this is the first time a team of mine has won since 2003, the Devils. That's a long time.
Well, and I mean, you've been with Arsenal so long now. I mean,
5 years. This is
Yeah.
my 5 years. This is my 5th season. And my friend in London said I was the good luck charm because I went out there this New Year's.
I was thinking the same thing, Seth.
Uh-huh.
You pulled over?
I am pulled over. I can't even tell you where I am.
Okay.
The place where I pulled over originally didn't have any cell service, so none of this was working. In hindsight, I should have just gone home and stayed in the car there. I wouldn't have had time to go upstairs, but whatever.
Here we go. 5 seconds.
Live and learn.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us, particularly in Southwest Florida, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice, and surrounding areas, Live Oak, Lake City, surrounding areas, of course, Jacksonville and Tampa Bay, and new markets joining us all the time. Seth Everett joins us at this day and time all the time. Seth and all our guests on Miller and Moulton join us courtesy of the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. So how insufferable are you going to be on the show today?
Oh, I'll be pretty annoying. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be one of those fans that I can't stand.
Great. Well, Seth,
No.
Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. What do you have? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, your
No, I'm
team
just
won. Mark and I were debating.
If he
Mark,
didn't win, his team that he was making sure didn't win more games tied. I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't like there was a walk-off or a late goal. It was because Man City tied, Arsenal celebrates. That's
No.
that's what EPL soccer is, unfortunately.
But one of the neat things, and I didn't know this at first, I learned this later last night. Uh, the team got together to watch the Man City game, and if Man City either loses or draws, they win. And they invited all the staff, the cooks, the janitors, the everybody that works at the stadium, works for the club, works at the training ground. Everybody was invited to this watch party that they had. And when the players were celebrating, it wasn't just the players, it was the entire franchise. I'd never seen that in any sports setting. It was pretty remarkable. I've seen baseball teams clinch divisions when the other team loses. So I've seen something like this, but never to that scope. And it was a lot of fun. It was probably more fun than watching a game. TikTok was great. Instagram was fun. Facebook was cool. Like all that kind of thing was really, really neat.
Well, the fix was in. West Ham scored a week ago, and they took the goal off the board. But
Yeah, they
anyway,
did. That'll be in the highlight video.
yeah, it sure will. So, is this equal to an American sports team winning a championship? I mean, are you celebrating this the way you did the Devils winning a cup, the way you did Syracuse winning the basketball national championship?
Well, it's funny. That's the last time I had any kind of success outside of Syracuse lacrosse winning a couple of championships. But back then, it was hard to follow. You were just kind of reading about it. For me, I'm much older now. That was 2003. The Devils won the cup in that summer or in that spring. Syracuse won in March. And those were two great years. I remember when Syracuse won the national championship, a bunch of my classmates went, and that's when the national championship coincided with opening day, and I was working for MLB at the time, and you weren't allowed to take off opening day, so I didn't go, and I've always regretted not going, but there was nothing I can do. The Devils, I was at the game. And it was the third championship, but that was the first one that I saw in person.
Okay, but the question was,
no,
does
I
this
know.
equate with an American sports championship?
It's not so much that it's American. It's more, are you asking about me personally, or are you just saying from the scope of it?
No, Seth, Seth, you're making this very complicated. You know how you felt when Syracuse won. You know how you felt when the Devils won. How? Okay, you know how
it's different,
feel.
but it's different. I'm different now.
Well, I understand. You were in your late 20s then. You're in your early 50s now. But is it comparable?
It's comparable. Yeah, it's comparable. It's similar. Now, when the Devils won in 2003, I went to the parade. I can't go to the parade, for this. They've already scheduled it.
Would you?
If money was no object?
Yeah.
If money was no object, sure. I would love to.
Okay.
It would be fun, but I'll watch it on TV. But that's how it's going to be. It's very muted in that the championship celebration was happening at 4:00 in the afternoon or 5:00 in the afternoon, as opposed to at night. It was very, very different. It's a very, very not comparable thing. I can't say that what it was like when I was in my 20s and I was at the Meadowlands watching the Devils win the Stanley Cup. But I think it's wild that since that day in the Meadowlands, none of my teams have won anything. And here I adopted this team. They weren't great when I adopted them. There was an Amazon documentary. There was that awful incident with the Euros in 2021. And I was in. I started following it, and it was getting infectious, and I was loving it, and they weren't winning. And now all of a sudden they've won.
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm not taking your side, but I do get it because you made me quickly look up when's the last time one of my teams won a title.
Yeah.
And it's the Red Wings in 2008.
Yeah.
And Detroit sports had a great run for a while with the Pistons being pretty damn good. The
Tigers,
Tigers getting to World Series. And Michigan State, my alma mater, won a Big Ten title in 2015 in football and went to the playoff and got annihilated. But it was a big moment. I remember that's really the last one for me. And while you were doing that, Seth, I'm kind of thinking the same thing that maybe you were thinking with your Syracuse's and your Devils. Are they even going to win another one? And do I care the same way I once did? And I think, Seth, you and I are similar in this regard, that if there were a team I were to pick, I would pick the Red Wings because it's my son's favorite team.
Right.
Together. He loves Georgia football, but I don't have that same passion. Your daughter loves the Devils. Both your daughters love the Devils the way you do. So to be able to enjoy a championship with my child, even though he turned 27 today, he's no longer a child.
Happy birthday.
I would love to see him get one while he's still, young enough to have the exuberance, because to me, when you're in your 50s, it ain't the same, Seth.
Well, I had said that I want to see the Devils win a Stanley Cup, and with my kids. I don't want them to be off living their lives, the way they are now. And, that I was putting an undue pressure on this particular Devils season because she lives with me now, and she's not going to next year. I get all that. I do think it's cyclical, and the stage of your life is more connected than the team that happens to be. I needed something when I stopped watching baseball regularly. I haven't watched an NBA game since 2014. We were doing some research the other day. The idea that I needed something else that I could be passionate about, not to follow, to root for, to get my heart behind. And this fit the bill. This was something that I lacked. It was something that was unique. I do think that 5 years ago, Syracuse was in a really bad way. And I remember that. And I was thinking that that's part of why I was looking for something else. And this just fit like a glove.
Seth Everett. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. He, of course, with the two great podcasts, Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice. So yesterday, with the Sabres losing, we talked about
2 days ago. Yep.
Sorry, Buffalo, Montreal, Minneapolis, Buffalo, Cleveland, Minneapolis, sports cities that seemingly have just had far more misery than celebration.
Unlucky. What we were really going for.
And so when you talked about it's been 23 years, and there are some fan bases that are out there going, let me tell you,
100%.
I'd give a body part. If, because I'm working on 40, 50, 60 years or never. And, you were working on 23, but, as you were talking, Mark started thinking about his teams. My basketball team's 53, my baseball team is 40, and my hockey team is 32.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm to the point where I just want one from each before I die.
Yeah, I hear that. I think I remember seeing in person the Red Sox in '04, and I remember seeing how that was so rewarding to watch from a distance. Even though I was there, that's not my team. And then I remember watching the Cubs in 2016, seeing something very similar, very, very fitting. And I've seen that fan base. I have nothing but respect for that. And, I was joking about being insufferable, but I don't like, I like the idea of celebrate the victories because we have so much defeat in sports. And there's so many times in sports that we're disappointed. And when something like this happens, you celebrate it, and you wear the jersey, and you wear the shirt, and you watch the parade. And yes, I'm going to buy something. Which, by the way, there's another league. There's the Champions League. They play on the 30th, a week from Saturday, in Budapest to win potentially a double. And the funniest part about that is all the shirts that they're selling, they're going to have to change because they would have two championships. So you can't buy any shirts now. No, don't buy anything now. Wait to see what happens.
You're getting greedy.
Well, it's the final. You have a chance. It's a 50-50 shot. They can win. And they might be buoyed by the idea that they just won the Premier League maybe that helps them, get over the line in the Champions League. But that should be a fun day too.
PSG heavily favored to win the
Understood.
Champions League final. It would be remarkable for Arsenal to
It
pull
would
off.
be
the
David
double.
against Goliath.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
more Yankees Red Sox than it is Yankees.
Yeah.
I'll but Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Which one airs this week?
Hall of Justice. It's Daredevil, Born Again Season 2 review. And then next week on Sports with Friends, Freddie Gonzalez on the passing of Bobby Cox.
He's Seth Everett. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, his 2 terrific podcasts. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Congrats on
Thank you.
being able to celebrate a championship in your 50s, because you didn't celebrate one in your 30s and 40s. And we'll talk next week.
You got it, guys. Go Gunners.
Seth
Gunner?
Everett.
Who's Gunner?
I don't know. I don't know who that is. Am I supposed to know who that is?
Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supply. For nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Adam, I don't think Seth has the money. And if he does, I don't think he'd spend it on a World Cup game. And I don't know if Seth can get credentials to one of the games that's in Jersey.
I don't think he can. I think he tried and he got denied.
Yeah.
And Seth's not a World Cup guy. He's been pretty truthful about that for the longest time.
Hates FIFA, hates the politics.
But it's not even that. He doesn't like the country event. He doesn't like the World Baseball Classic. He's not an Olympic guy. He likes his teams, and he's worried his guys are going to get hurt playing in these international events. He has been very, very steady with that for at least 5 years, if not longer. And Michael, I appreciate you replacing the negativity of puck left, and you came right in just to tell Seth how much his team sucks. I know you're not a PSG fan. You are a front runner. I know that, but go get him. Stick with the negativity. I love it.
He's a front runner who's also a contrarian. It's a
Yes, very much so. Unless it's my team, your team sucks. Yep. Who's proud of making prank calls to minor league hockey players. Quite a dichotomy. Just like our friend texting me last night that he was at a city council meeting because people were going to go nuts, and he lives for that. And I didn't reply with, I thought you just left that to Little League Baseball. I let it go, David. I thought that was very big of me last night.
wow. I don't know how you let it go.
Because I'm done fighting with people over their stupidity. I get 4 hours of it every morning in here with the chat room. I can't do it beyond that.
I am amazed what has happened to him, where he was the first 15 years that we knew him. This turnaround is startling.
Startling. Back in 5.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. JP Peterson to join us a little more than 15 minutes time. I just want to talk to him about, here he is, a guy who speaks for a living. But we joke, what we do is not important. I mean, it has a role.
Not even close.
I mean, it has a role in society. My wife has beat me over the head for years now to say, you don't realize the importance that you guys have, just, people in their everyday lives, and, they need something to cheer them up, make them laugh or what have you. And you don't realize how important you are. It's like, okay, all right, fine. We have some redeeming social value. It's good to hear.
That's stretching it. I like when you just said a role, David, because if I were to think of where we are in the spread of dinner, at best, we're a dinner roll.
Are we warmed? Are we at least warm?
We could just be the butter for said roll. But if we're a roll, that's good, because you and I both love carbs. Yes. And if we're simply the roll, you've got your protein. You've got a bunch of, if you want to think of it as Thanksgiving, you want to think of it as Easter, you want to think of it as Christmas, you've got your protein, you've got your sides, you've got your dessert. We are merely the dinner roll, because the bread's always there, no matter where you go. I think we're better than an Olive Garden breadstick, but that's just me. A lot of people
Okay.
love those.
All right. How about this? We're a warm buttered roll, and when we're good, there's butter to go with us. And when we're not good, we're just the roll.
I'll tell you what, David. I just want the butter to be soft because there's nothing worse than rock hard butter that just came out of the refrigerator. It can ruin a dinner roll. I'll even be, and you know my thought of this restaurant, I'll even be that loaf of bread at Outback because it might be the best thing about that place.
Wow. Wow.
I'm not asking to be, what are those rolls that people like at Red Lobster? I'm not even trying to go there.
Like
The
the
cheddar
garlic ones?
rolls or whatever.
Yeah, garlic cheddar or something. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I just want to make sure the butter's soft. That's all I'm asking, David.
Okay.
But
Well,
I'm gonna put the butter in the freezer for you for just a second, if you don't mind, because I'm gonna let you roll here. I'm gonna let you go, but let me read a couple of texts. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 21,000. If you've never texted the show before, the keyword is Miller. It shouldn't be after I let David go here, but it's easier to spell. Okay. We got into the greatness in sports at the end of the 7:00 hour. And we brought up Ohtani, and we brought up a lot of players. First off, the shot at Ohtani was, but Ohtani can't win a bet. He's horrible at that. Oops, it wasn't him. It was his translator.
no doubt.
In
No doubt.
baseball, you went Ruth. I said, is it Mays? Someone said it's Aaron. Someone said it's Mantle. Okay. Someone also chimed in that Ohtani has 170 stolen bases. All right. But it's this comment that I am going to read, and then I'm probably just going to sip coffee for the rest of the segment. So you said you would win a Jordan argument in 40 seconds.
Yes.
To which I believe this response came off of that. The NBA is better, different, faster, more skilled, and more spaced than ever before. Same as hockey. Guys run longer distances, change directions harder, run harder. No offense to MJ, but the same logic applies. I think there are at least a handful of players in the league today that are objectively better than him if you watch side by side. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, it's laughable. I'm sorry, it's laughable. Okay, he was the best defensive player in the league outside of Dennis Rodman when he played, and he was far and away the best offensive player. What more do you have to be? Okay, seriously, what more do you have to be? They literally said, we've given him too many MVP awards. Let's give one this year to Barkley. How about we give one 4 years later to Karl Malone? I mean, he retired in the middle of his career. Here's the other part that I'm going to hit you all over the head with. 82, 82, 82, 81, 82, 82, 80, 78, 82, 82, 83, 82. That's how many games he played in all but 2 of his seasons. No way. No way. Sorry. No way. 6-0 in finals. Only played in 2 game 7s. Okay? Well, 3, because he lost the game 7, against Detroit. But I mean, that's it. He was so good. He lifted his teams to such a level. A, they didn't lose in the finals. And B, during those 6 championship years, they only played 2 game 7s. I'm sorry. And he killed me. I'm a Knicks fan. He killed me.
The other way that he changed the game, I watched that ABA documentary, Soul Power. It's excellent if you're old enough to remember the ABA. Even if you're not, it's a fun watch. But Rick Barry's a pretty big part of the first episode because he was the first star that went to the ABA. And then he was sued, had to sit out a year anyhow. But they were, and Rick Barry thinks a lot of Rick Barry.
Yeah.
Most great athletes do.
Yeah.
But they asked him, essentially, could he play today? If you, that younger players are better today because of all these reasons. He started laughing. He said, do you know how good I would have been today? He goes, we didn't have nutritionists and people helping us work out and showing us how to get stronger. We just showed up and played. Could you have imagined all of us with the technology and the insight we have today? We would have all been better. So I think that's a fabulous argument by him. But Jordan was really one of the first guys that went and got in the weight room too. Jordan realized he had to get stronger early in his career to get through the Detroits who were beating him up. And so he went in the weight room and got stronger. He was the best offensive player in the game. And he realized he had to get better. Developed his shot. Became a three-point shooter. Became stronger, which made him a better defender. I mean, I think that's part of the game that we don't give Mike any credit for, David.
His defense is what separates him. He was first team All-NBA. Defense, 7 consecutive years. First team. He was defensive player of the year a couple times. While he's winning scoring titles and then eventually championships. Listen, I love LeBron. Mark will back me up on this.
Yep.
I love LeBron.
We've both been pro LeBron than anti-LeBron throughout his entire career.
I actually think he takes way too much grief. All right. And I think he's one of the greatest players of all time. And and he's on one hand, by the way. I mean, for goodness sakes, he's 41 years old. He's averaging like 24, 7, and 7. Are you serious? But I mean, I'm sorry. Is there times that maybe LeBron did things that Michael couldn't do? Yeah, maybe. Okay. But that's like saying, there was a time when Tiger played golf at a higher level than Jack. Who's the greatest player of all time? Jack. You know who the greatest basketball player of all time was? Jordan. Period. That's it. It's over. Until somebody else. And maybe that somebody else is playing tonight in Oklahoma City for the Spurs. Who knows? JP Peterson next.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Panda, I'm not going to argue with you. All I will say is that someone who I value their opinion on basketball far more than yours, Dr. Jack Ramsey on our show said that Kobe was equal offensively to Michael Jordan. He said he got to the point. So I'm not saying he's better than Jordan. It's not what I'm saying. Offensively, he's his equal. That's Dr. Jack Ramsey. Knew a little bit about the sport.
Mark and I looked to one another when he said it, and we were like, damn.
Michael Jordan is the Wagyu beef. Okay.
Yep.
He's that Japanese A5 strip at like $130 a pound. That's what he is. He's the bluefin tuna at the sushi place that they spend all that money to buy. Foie gras, caviar, you name it, that's what he is. Thank you, Javier.
Feel better, Javier.
In fact, I may have to go to Jimmy P's and get some foie gras this week. Since I can't have steak, I may have to indulge in that. May have to double check with the doctor Thursday. I don't see why I couldn't have it if it's seared. So I cleared out like some cabinets, just stuff that we just don't use, just to make more room in the cabinets. And I asked Jake if he wanted it. My wife wanted me to save the shot glasses because I served our 7 fishes shrimp, like one shrimp cocktail. You did serve the shrimp, and I think we're good. Morning, JP.
Good morning, boys. Are we on?
Not yet. We got about 2 minutes. The Twitch and YouTube audiences are here, but you take your time, do your thing.
Okay, I'm just getting my shoes. I gotta get ready to zip out when I'm done with you guys. How are you?
Doing well. Back home.
Oh, nice.
Got home 2 weeks ago today.
Was that early?
No, it wasn't unexpected. I had to do 90 days post-transplant, so
Okay.
I fulfilled those 90 days. My Tampa time is done. Did Boulan downtown for my final meal. It was lovely.
Nice.
I tell you what, man, and I said it to you. It is just, it's so weird having been here as long as I have, where I'm the youngest guy at a restaurant. To sit outside downtown and watch all the pretty people walk by.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half, people walking dogs, people going for walks, people going to have a drink. It's like, I remember what cities are like. This is a city. This is great.
Tampa's just exploding, and this is just the next step, hopefully. Are those planes too loud?
No.
Okay. We're on the landing pattern today.
Different wind, huh?
Southern wind, yes. So, or is that northern wind? Northern wind, yeah. That also means it's still kind of cool. if we're getting a northern wind. So that's nice.
Okay, so you're over by the airport in that little area there.
No, actually, I'm just south of Gandy, right on the water. And if you know where Salt Shack is, right on the water.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, we're right next to Salt Shack, just south. That's the Gandy right there. So this is the flight plan where it comes from the south. They turn around and they land to the north. You could actually just over there is the Trop. You can't see it because the building's in the way.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Our next guest hosts his own show. In fact, it's so good he put his name on it. He's JP Peterson, host of the JP Peterson Show, 10 to noon Eastern, FanStream Sports app, fanstreamsports.com, and also live on YouTube. You can follow JP on X at JP Peterson Show. All right. Were you before the county commission or the city of Tampa about a week and a half ago when you put on all your Rays garb and you gave your 3 to 5 minute impassioned plea, please vote to let them stay?
Yeah, that was the city commission. By the way, I tried to put Miller and Moulton on my show, but they said it was trademarked. So, yes, I went in front. I went in front of the city council, which I've never done before, but it was really fun. It was really fun, and it was exhilarating. I was actually a little bit nervous, believe it or not. It's just different talking to live people than just staring into a camera, right? Yeah, there was the city council, and I've done obviously 30 years of stuff in this market, from post-game Super Bowl shows and Stanley Cup winning shows, but nothing has ever gotten a reaction like that. Nothing. I think it's like close to 1 million views or something. It's bananas. But and everybody I see on the street now, Publix, wherever, is like, dude, you're fighting for baseball for Tampa. We love you, man. I'm like, happy to do it. I've been doing it for a long time.
All right, that's fantastic, and I'm not taking anything away from that because that's awesome when you get that type of reaction post. What was the reaction in the room, and did you notice whether it was eyes, anybody from the council talked to you after? What was the reaction, quite frankly, of the people that matter?
That matter. Well, the chair, Alan Clendenin, who's been on my show a couple times now, who very much believes this deal is done. He said, I asked him specifically, I said, do you think all of us, because there's about 12 of us that spoke from my show. He said, that really makes a difference. Believe it or not, people coming down in person, taking time to do it, that's what really sways votes. So that's what he said. And I even had Charlie Miranda nodding yes, and he's a hard no, right? Old Charlie. So I don't know, maybe it made a difference. I've been told the county vote, which will be today, is pretty solid. 5-2. The city vote is a little bit more dicey. So if we did make any imprint at all, then that's where it's going to show, and hopefully that will get done today or tomorrow.
Okay, so 2 votes to make this a go. The vote tonight is the county, and it's expected to pass pretty easily.
Yeah, we're thinking that's about 5. That's a 5-2 vote. And again, this is they're just kind of rubber stamping, or should be rubber stamping, a non-binding MOU. The real agreements that have to be voted on, the final language still is yet to come. So as Mayor Castor said the other day, if you're an elected official, why would you vote against just continuing to talk and do this process? Because that's what this is. And so it shouldn't be a problem in the city, but we'll see. As far as this memo of understanding goes, it is somewhat vague, and that's part of what they are. But there's a lot in it. There's a lot in it, and those final agreements are the ones that will actually spell out exactly when stuff gets paid for, how it gets paid for. But this is the framework, the major framework, and everybody's agreed to it. So I think it's a go.
Well, that being said, then, JP, it sounds to me like, one, if you rubber stamp this, what you're doing is essentially handcuffing the Rays to talk to anybody else. Because if it's rubber, if you vote no, then they can leave. I mean, then they're gone. But if you rubber stamp this, even if it ends up changing immensely between now and the final decision on how the money's spent, you've pretty much tied the Rays to Tampa, right?
Yes, absolutely. And here's the deal. I was actually talking to Bill Cosgrove last night, one of the owners at the game. The first time I went to the Trop since it's reopened. And boys, let me tell you, it is a whole new ball game. It is completely different. It is bright. The field looks real. Everything is painted and new. It's just, we went from about a 2 to a 10 as far as the Trop could go. It's real. They've really done a hell of a job. They spent almost $100 million, and a lot of that came directly from the new owners. A lot of it came from FEMA. A lot of it came from St. Pete, but the new owners put in a lot. They would be tied. And I'm going to tell you this, and I know this for a fact. They could go to any other city, starting with Orlando, and get at least $1.7 billion in public money. In Nashville, Nashville and any of these expansion cities, they could get at least $2 billion, and they're asking for less than $1 billion here. So let's just and so all these opponents that just said, "Oh, let's call their bluff." Well, you call their bluff, they're going to leave, and you're going to be sitting there going, "Wow, we just blew a great opportunity to bring in $75 million in economic impact, and now that's going to go to Orlando." Be a really stupid political move, in my opinion.
You say the MOU, was vague. It wasn't with the money though. It spelled out, the Rays got to pay 1.35 billion. The 700 plus has to come from the county. $180 or so has to come from the city.
Yeah.
Now, making that specific as to where it goes, may have to get worked out. But I thought it was very important. I mean, the Rays are on the hook for $1.35 billion and all overruns.
Yeah.
That seems significant to me.
It is. It's incredibly significant because that's what everybody points to old stadium deals. And first of all, and they're not economically beneficial. First of all, 99% of those studies that have been done do not include a mixed-use project of $8 to $10 billion around it that's bringing back tax money to the taxpayers. They point to Miami. Miami doesn't bring back any tax money. It doesn't have a mixed-use facility around it. They built nothing around it, and that was 70% publicly financed. This is going to be 60% privately financed. So the two comparisons don't even hold water. The specific economic studies for this, 3 of them were done, by companies that are used to finance billion-dollar operations. This is not some fly-by-night numbers that they're just throwing out. This is what's used to finance these billion-dollar projects. And they say at the minimum, $2.8 billion in tax money coming directly back. So that's a 3-to-1 return just in the tax money you invest. And in economic return, it's 77-to-1 or 75-to-1. So, but when I said vague, that's probably a bad word.
No, but I just wanted
not concrete language, legal language for the actual agreements.
Well, no,
yes.
I actually thought you laid it out. I mean, because they agreed on 1.35 billion. Then they have to get specific as to what that's going to pay for. It's the same thing here in Jacksonville. The owner's going to pay half, the city and the county is going to pay half, and then they had to figure out who's paying for what.
Right. Yeah. And then and to your point, the overruns plus operational costs go to the Rays, plus any capital improvements they want to do, they're going to pay for. So in terms of stadium deals and certainly it's gazillion times better than what the county got from the Glazers, which was nothing. So this deal is very, very good for the public. I don't think it could be any better, to be quite honest.
Well, and as we were just talking briefly before we started, downtown Tampa is blowing up. If you haven't been there in a while, and just because I spent 3 months there and went out a little bit, it's amazing. But the one area of town that probably hasn't caught up with the rest of Tampa is Dale Mayberry and near Ray J. I mean, this takes another section that is not as nice in Tampa and beautifies it a little bit. I mean, this gives it this is now another area in Tampa to go. And I think that part needs to be reflected as well, JP.
Yeah, you're being very kind to Drew Park, which is a blighted area in strip clubs and mechanic shops. And it's in 23 years, they've had a CRA there, which is the Community Development District. and nothing has been done because nobody wanted to do with it. If not for bringing an anchor tenant like the Rays and a baseball stadium, you would not be able to make this 120 acres, which is largely pavement, asphalt, pickleball courts, and tennis courts. You would not, and a dilapidated college, you would not be able to get any money to redo the whole thing, because you got to have something that's going to bring in millions and millions of visitors. That's going to give you the tourist tax money and the new property tax money, 8 million square feet. So where are you going to find something like that? Oh, wow. A baseball team. What a great idea. They bring in 81 games a year, plus all the other concerts and everything else. If not for this stadium, you can't really redevelop that property. That's why it's never been done. So that's why some of the city and county officials like, oh my God, we've always wanted to find someone that would do something with this property. And now we have it. And we're going to get all these things back in return. 10 million visitors a year. There were 9 million to the Battery, and this is going to be twice as big as the Battery. And this is a tourist town where Atlanta really isn't. So all the projections really show what a great deal this is for the city. That's why there's 10 other cities lining up to get them if the city council is stupid enough to say no to this.
JP Peterson, host of the JP Peterson Show. Go to X, the JP Peterson Show. All right. First off, when they're developing this land, they better make sure that however many pickleball courts there were before construction, there's just that many after it. Nothing can derail a project, JP, like fewer pickleball courts. That's
You
number
have nailed
one.
it, my friend. You do not want to piss off that lobby.
No,
The pickleball lobby is strong and vocal. No, which is why they're going to redo this tennis and pickleball center about a half a mile away and give it lights and a much better facility. So like everything else they're doing, I know.
I was just trying to have a little bit of fun very quickly. So tonight's the county vote.
This morning, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So it's expected to pass. Okay. When is the city vote?
Tomorrow morning. And I was going to show up for that, but I got to be doing my show during that. But my minions will be there, and they'll be speaking to the city council. Again, I think it's a little more dicey, but I think they have the votes to pass it. And in the end, I think this thing is just too far down the tracks. Honestly, it's too good of a deal, and the people that are supposed to know the research and done the research, the city councilmen, and they know what the numbers look like. They know how good this is. They'll vote for it. Sure, there's opposition out there, but I haven't seen any good arguments yet. So I think this will pass. I think it's a done deal. Everybody anybody that knows the inner workings of this entire thing that I've talked to says it's going to get done.
Which is great news. I will say the one thing, I know I've seen some renderings. They need to make sure the indoor dimensions of the ballpark are the exact same as the Trop, because who knew that the home cooking at the Trop could lead to the best record in baseball, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to undersell what this new ownership group has done to brighten up the Trop. And not only that, but within the organization, to a man, Kevin Cash, Neander, they love this new group and everything, and the vision that they're bringing. They don't want to be in the Trop forever, and everything they're doing is first class for the players, and it's being reflected on the field. This team has a vibe about them. They love each other. They truly love each other. They're playing good baseball. They're passing it on to the next guy. It was fun to watch. That last night on Tuesday night at the Trop, we had the guys with the tarps off in the corner.
Awesome.
It was like a collegiate atmosphere, man. The place was buzzing. It used to be 3,000 people for a Tuesday night Orioles game. There was probably 14,000 last night. It was loud, and guys with their shirts off and swirling there. It was an incredibly fun atmosphere.
And more guys with their shirts off last night than the night before.
Yes,
when
it's growing.
They started it. Okay.
Yeah. I tried to get Brett Phillips to go down there with me, but they said, "Nah, we better not do that. It might ruin the vibe."
Keep your shirt on, JP.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. They wanted this to get done so that they could build everything within 3 years and be ready to go for April of 2029. We're about 2 months behind what they wanted their schedule to be. Can they, because their lease with the Trop ends after 2028.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they could play there longer, obviously, if they have to, but do they still think they can get everything built and be in the Tampa stadium on 2029?
Yeah, they do. They still believe that, and nobody. That would depend on weather, right? Construction materials, all those things. But the Brave Stadium was done in 31 months. What was the other stadium that was recently built? Globe Life Field, but that has a roof on it in Texas. That was built in 31 months, so it can be done. We've seen it done. So they believe that if they can get shovels in the dirt by the last quarter, then it can be done. So hopefully we'll see. And if they need to stay an extra year in the Trop, I don't think that's a big deal.
Right. Even if they're not ready in April, but they're
Yeah.
ready in June or July. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Which
could
would be
see
not, which would be fine. Just get it done.
JP, as always, thanks for your insight. You've been all over this whole project since the get-go, and we always appreciate your time. Have a great show today, and thanks for coming on.
Oh, I got some great stories for today's show. You got to tune in live 10 to 12 on X, YouTube. You know where to watch it. Google me, as Signetti would say.
FanStream Sports app, fanstreamsports.com, JP Peterson Show on X. JP, thanks so much. Great
Thanks,
view.
guys. Always fun. Appreciate you.
JP Peterson.
Well, he says it's done. Votes today and tomorrow. They got to pass it. Miller and Moulton. Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's strange. I'm looking at all the U.S. Open qualifiers are basically in June. There's one overseas that was before, but there was one in Dallas that was the same day, which makes no sense. I always love seeing the great players that didn't qualify for the Open. The Kevin Streelman, no. Eric Cole, pretty good player, no. Mackenzie Hughes, pretty good player, no. Sergio, no. Joel Dahman, no. Nick Dunlop, no. Our buddy Frankie Sappin, no. Cameron Tringali, no. I mean, that's just at this one spot. Now, there were 9 spots available. And Graham McDowell, I recognize. Tom Kim, I recognize. Other than that, I don't know any of these names. I could be missing somebody, but.
Now, it's interesting. What's your take? Because Graham McDowell won a U.S. Open. Do you think you should be allowed to play in the U.S. Open for life?
No.
Till you're 60, 55, 50?
I think 5 years. I think 10 years after.
Okay.
And I think that's max because I do, this is, I do like the Tin Cup line. It is the most fair golf tournament from a standpoint of anybody can win it. But there was one in England that day. There's one in Japan on May 25th. I'm just shocked that the Dallas Athletic Club had a May 18th site when there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on June 8th. And that's the day for everyone in the U.S., but that one in Dallas was June 8th. I guess that's for all the guys that apparently must not be able to make the June 8th qualifier.
Was there a Texas tournament played right around then?
No, it was.
They have one this week.
I know that was 2 days ago. I mean, there was this.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It
was right after the PGA. So no. But I'm interested because our buddy Taylor Ives' son was a medalist at Kensington. He's a high school kid, and he's playing in Palm Beach Gardens. I mean, I will be locked into this, watching to see if he qualifies. That is
Michael Kim on X posted a fascinating thing about, hey, I've been in this position to have to qualify, and they rank the qualifying sites as to the fields. Okay, and he goes and. There are many times that some of us go to specific places because it's regarded as like the 6th easiest field or what have you. And usually Dallas is really hard, he says.
Well, yeah, because there's 9 spots available. So that's what you got both sides. Because Johnny McDonald, my buddy who got to this stage several times, he always went up to Ohio and played at Springfield where all those pros are after Memorial. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, there's the most spots available. I know the course. I played there. I actually know the course because that's where he's from Ohio. He goes, so I've played tournaments there. I'm comfortable on the course. And there's a lot. He always liked the idea of more spots as opposed to a Florida stop with like 2. If he never made it, but more on him than on anything else. 5 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Pro Hour, the bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. We just talked with Seth Everett and JP Peterson last hour. If you missed any of it, go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. So there. But another great discussion day. Bringing up, hey, what do you think of this idea? Sorry to discuss future shows during this one, but if you were with us yesterday, we had an academic person talking about what trouble our colleges are in financially, and that it's only going to get worse. And that, yes, sports is a part of it, but there are 1 or 2 other really big reasons also. Okay, We also got into a discussion about the Texas Tech quarterback, and he's got a gambling problem. He's made, what, 50,000 bets, something ridiculous like that over a 5-year period of time. And he is suing to get his eligibility back, and he wants to play. And if he can win in court, he's scheduled to make about $4 or $5 million this year as the quarterback in Lubbock. And Miller and Moulton are totally against his side. How about this? I'm trying to find a lawyer that will take his side and argue it for us. Because obviously we gave our response and we got challenged by the listeners, and we, multi-layered response by us. But, he's claiming that gambling, it's an addiction. It's just like other addictions. Okay, addictions are a, quote, mental health problem, and he should, while fighting his addiction, get his, eligibility back.
I know a way you can do it for sure. I'm not for this way, but I know how you can get a lawyer on. It's really simple, David. Pay him. Because they'll take any side for the right price.
I'm trying to get someone that actually agrees with the Texas Tech quarterback and would like to passionately, make their case.
Start with the attorney section in the Lubbock Yellow Pages. I'm sorry. I'm coming off as a cynic here, David. I really don't mean
No, actually, you're making me feel really dumb because I'm the one in charge of booking the show. And I'm like, well, man, if I had just followed Mark's 2 ideas, I'd have at least one of these guests booked by now.
Bingo. Let's see. Texas Tech alumni that are current attorneys. I mean, that seems to be where I'd start, but that's just me.
So that's what I'm trying to do tomorrow or Friday. Have a lawyer on. We'll be the jury, and they will make that quarterback's case as to why gambling is a mental health problem, just like others, and therefore he should get his eligibility back.
This is there's no lawyer in the world. Like, I wouldn't be able to make this jury. The lawyer would have me kicked off the jury in 13 secods.
Right.
You
and I don't make it.
I wouldn't even tell him I did a sports talk show host. I would try to lie. I would be as evasive about what do I do? I talk for a living. I mean, I would do everything I could to get on that jury. No way. No way. Let me pull up the radio show from May 19th. Get out of here, Miller.
Yeah, I would want one of the clips we had yesterday with me. And when the questions start, I'd be like, listen, instead of me having to answer all these questions from both of you attorneys, I go, can I just play this 30-second clip? I go, I think one of you will know what to do afterwards. I play the clip, and the quarterback's attorney would say, I move to get rid of juror 212. And I'd be like, I thought so.
The only way is if they came back with you trashing the NCAA.
Well, that's true.
I mean, we've definitely been against the NCAA, I don't know, for, let's see, ever.
Well, you know what? And I even said during one of the clips yesterday, I said, I hate the NCAA. I'd blow it up and start over. So how about I add that to the end, in which I go, okay, there you go. You both have material. You think I could be fair and balanced in both sides, or are you racing to the judge to get rid of me, both of you?
See, this is the part that has kind of stayed with me, David, is that even if the attorney can prove that this addiction is a mental health problem,
right?
How do I get past he bet on Indiana football?
Well,
it's just they have that rule.
I know.
Right.
And that's
grant you. I don't believe it, but I'll grant you that it's a mental health problem. I don't care. He bet on college football. He can't play.
Right. And that would be, okay, my argument as well. Like I said, I think the NCAA has two arguments here. Okay, one is to go after them on this, saying, we think you're trying to use it to your advantage, and it's not really the case here. Or just number two, I'll even grant you number one, but you bet on Indiana when you were redshirting at Indiana. There's no effing way I'm going to allow you to play college sports.
Here's the problem. And you and I have talked about this problem for a long time on this show. Not just the fact that the NCAA doesn't have any teeth, is that it doesn't really, in our opinion, have any power. And those that took the power away from the NCAA are the conferences. This is actually where, when we talked to Anthony Bradley yesterday about college athletics, and we brought up the idea of employees, he goes, I'm not against it completely, but here are the other problems that come with that. Well, in all the other sports, they've collectively bargained. It's really simple for them to throw someone out of their league because they have agreements. There is no agreement between college athletes and the NCAA.
I did have someone contact me yesterday and say, this will be the problem with what you are convinced is a 100% win argument. Okay. The kid didn't agree to the NCAA rules. And I said, they don't have to. Okay. And he said, well, they're going to argue that they do.
And this is where, to kind of combine a few things that we talked about, really 3 separate hours, the 7, 8, 9 o'clock hour yesterday, David, you brought up the Iowa State athletic director, Pollard. I even remember his name. Don't remember his first name, and that's really irrelevant. But Pollard, the Iowa State athletic director, saying, let the Big Ten and the SEC go form their own thing. If the sports ever broke away, then you'd have one person in charge. We don't. There is no one person who runs college football and or college basketball. There are a bunch of conferences who think independently, who act independently, and that's why we've got this, that's why we've got these guys playing preseason games for the Boston Celtics that are going back to LSU.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Right.
One guy who spent the whole year last year in the G League, and another guy who played 3 preseason games for the Celtics and then spent the year in the G League. Unreal. Yeah. We'll get to Will Wade and LSU. By the way, people came after Will Wade yesterday who are in college basketball, and they basically said, hey, man, you're just making a mockery of our sport now. I mean, if you're going to do this, who was it? Goodman from the Field of 68? He came out and said, Will, I wish you never came back to college basketball. I was like, oh, damn. Because they're going to see each other multiple times. Like, holy smackers. But that's what my buddy said to me. He said, David, these players didn't agree to any of these rules. And I go, yeah, but the NCAA is allowed to set rules. And he goes, well, that's not what the courts have said. Okay. The NCAA has said, well, we've got this. And the courts have said, you can't do that. And so why not the gambling rules? I mean, if they're, the whole pay for play, that was an NCAA rule. It got challenged. Gone.
In fact, yesterday we talked about it in this hour that the SCORE Act is taken off the table in Congress. They're not even voting on it.
No. Because it's a waste of time. And that's a group that really likes to waste time.
Right. But this was more, what was it? The Black Caucus said, we're not helping this out at all. And this is more, it wasn't a waste of time. It was a waste of time because they didn't have the votes.
Right. And they're never going to get the votes.
No, they thought they did. I mean, they thought that this was going to be, I don't know about a slam dunk, but they thought they had the votes. And here we are late saying, we don't have the votes. Don't know what to tell you. So the NCAA, David, I still think we're right that employees is the only way to go. And I also, there's part of me that thinks that athletic director from Iowa State's right. That maybe the top 40 teams just need to go. And I've kind of thought that for a while, David. You know that. We've talked
Yeah,
about it.
we've talked about it. We said it's going to happen in the 2030s, and that's all because of existing TV contracts, but that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to take their ball and go home. And it's just a matter of how many other schools are they going to add. There will be lawsuits like you can't believe when this happens. But in theory, like if the Big Ten and the SEC want Miami, then shouldn't it just be Miami can pay whatever the ACC exit fee is and go join the Super Conference?
Well, I think we're a couple years away from that grants of rights thing expiring, and so all hell is going to break loose in the 2030s. There's no doubt in my mind.
No doubt about it.
And I would love it if they just did it for football. I don't know if they can get away with that. I mean, it would make sense to me, and I can draw out all my reasons why it does.
I'll tell you what, we may be at 12 for a while. Have you heard Sankey and Petiti this week? Sankey's like, I definitely don't want to go bigger than 16 at all. And Petiti said 16 doesn't interest me. It's 24. He didn't say 24 or bust, but he said, I'm only interested in 24. Huh. Okay.
I heard a question yesterday that intrigued me. I've saved it, and I will ask David that question next. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Actually, Miles, that is what he's saying, and he's not only he doubled down after I let David answer it. He basically said it's not close. He said he's not. He said the way they play today that he would be maybe an all-star. And his point is, if you put LeBron in the 90s, he might drop 150. So he's doubled and tripled down. I have become the person that I hate because my daughter is now officially playing travel soccer. Did not realize when we signed, I could get out of it, but actually probably not now. The wife used my credit card and paid for the whole damn thing. Right after I told her to do it in payments. Payments were an option, and she just lambasted me with the whole thing. Unbelievable. It's because it's just easier. I'm the one paying for it. How's it easier for me? Well, you're welcome, Ken. Our pleasure. Got me through some hard mornings, too. Like the last 90 of them.
Thank you, Ken.
There's some really old crap on my bookshelf behind me. I didn't realize how old some of this stuff is. I mean, that Derby, that Secretariat picture is actually from probably 1974 because my grandparents used to get one every year. This bottle's from the 95th Kentucky Derby.
Wow. We're at 152.
Right.
Do you have books to replace them with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could. I mean, this hockey book was given to me. I mean, it's a young Wayne Gretzky on the cover. And it's faded. Like the orange that used to be orange, and now it is nothing out of state, EB. It's basically just a competitive league, and we're either going to be in a league that goes north towards St. Pete or goes across the alley. So apparently it's like 6 trips, but it's just like, are you kidding me? But whatever. If we don't like it, we don't have to do it next year. I'm closing in on the end of my daughter's athletics. I think. I don't know. I don't know how long these things will continue past junior high. No, we're not. This isn't the Rich Naples Club or any of those. No, or Rich Sarasota clubs. This is, you remember, this is basically a San Carlos league, and that's where, wherever all the parents are. So it's not the money that they're spending.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Well, I am certainly intrigued about this next segment. Hopefully you all will be as well. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when, and some final thoughts all coming up.
Just quickly, yes or no. Were you writing checks during that break?
No, I was deleting emails.
Okay. You looked as you were focused straight down, hand was moving, so I thought you were writing a check. It's one of my favorite things that you do on the show is when you either balance the checkbook or pay bills during a commercial break. I'm
trying to unsubscribe. I've gotten a whole batch of emails, and I have no idea where they came from. A lot of them are financial.
Make sure you unsubscribe. That way they know exactly they got you.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. What else? I'm just trying something.
I know. My brother-in-law, who's a IT person at a high level, he's like, yeah, those unsubscribes were great. You let them know that they've got the right person. All right, here's my question for you. I heard this, and I'm guessing it was another podcast, and I don't know which. I'd love to give them credit, but it was a TikTok video that I saw. And so it was, parse down to just a couple of minutes, but I thought it was a fun question. I thought it was a fun question for you. If you were to rank the top 5 schools who by leaving their conference hurt their program the most, because they all did it for money. We get it. So, everybody left their conference for another conference for more money. I get it. But which ones have kind of crushed themselves the most by leaving their conference? Their identity, their competitiveness, any of those things?
Well, that's a very difficult question because the first thing you have to do is, so which 4 that were in the Pac-12, 2 that are now in the, actually 4 that are now in the Big Ten and 2 that are in the ACC. So it's 6 of them. So who am I leaving out from that 6? Now, I could argue Oregon's fine.
I could argue Washington's fine. I could.
How much has USC and UCLA hurt themselves? They have, but I don't know if they've hurt themselves as much as Cal, Stanford, and then Mark, to me, you got to go to the Northeast ACC schools, okay, who got up and left for more money. I mean, Boston College, Pitt, Syracuse. I mean, Syracuse has at least had moments, but in the ACC, but I mean, Boston College and Pitt, I mean, they have destroyed their athletic departments and their big programs. I mean, destroyed. And, there's probably 1 or 2 that I'm missing there.
Well, it's funny. The person who answered immediately went and he said, I'm combining 2 schools. I don't care what your question is. I'm putting USC and UCLA in right now. That not only did they destroy the Pac-12 by moving,
they did,
that they've killed themselves with the cross-country travel, all the things that go with it. And I brought this up after we had the last discussion because I do wonder if these conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC and taking some others, make a super conference, if you will. Could they just do it in football? Is it possible?
Well, if they were smart, I mean, once again, combining what we talked about earlier in the week with, if we were smart, would we just do it in football and try to go back regionally to what we had?
Yeah. For everything. If you're going to save all the other sports, yes, if they matter.
Well, okay, but now the Pac-12 is reconstituted, with a bunch of Mountain West schools. So let's just say we're going to go super conference in football, but everybody else is going to go back to what conference they used to be in to play non-football sports.
Well,
so
your lawsuits just increased tenfold because you're now throwing these Mountain West schools out, and they would say, what do you mean?
Well, no, I don't know if you could do that, but what I'm wondering is, does the Pac-12 now have to add USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford back for 20 sports?
Right, and would Arizona and Arizona State want to go, or would they stay where they are? But it's a separate discussion. But so, he answered USC and UCLA. I get what you're saying. It's interesting. One of the schools he said, and I'm curious what you think, one of their answers was Rutgers. That Rutgers in the Big East was at least competitive. And now they are the doormat. They don't even recruit as well for the sports as they once did by leaving where they were.
Well, part of it's hard, though, because the Big East doesn't play football. So what's Rutgers to do?
Well,
you're going to go the independent route like Connecticut? I mean, that's a disaster.
I understand. And the one that you missed, because it was the first one I thought of, and they got to it later in the answer, and I believe you is Nebraska. Ooh. Nebraska should have never, ever left the Big 12. Ever.
Boy, they had a hell of a case, though.
I got it. I understand. But Are they better off today
No.
than they were?
Absolutely not. No. They're going through their Miami period. And the question is Matt Rule going to be Mario Cristobal? Or is it somebody else down the road? I mean, Scott Frost wasn't the answer. I mean, they're going through their generational wasteland right now.
But the one thing, and I understand that Texas had all the money and they were getting all the breaks, and Nebraska felt as if it was very one-sided, but they were right.
They were.
The problem is when they were great, they were getting players from where? Texas. And those players aren't interested in Nebraska anymore. And when they made the move, the population began shifting from all the Midwest places of maybe where they could have gotten kids. You know where they all moved to? Texas.
Well, and to even throw on top of it, when they made the move, Texas A&M was not in the SEC yet. You know, so you had the SEC getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and A&M joins, and they join with Johnny Manziel, and they kind of take the conference by storm, and Missouri joins at the same time and goes to back-to-back SEC title games.
Right. And it's funny, Missouri was another school they mentioned because of their rivalry with Kansas. And you know, I know they've had some success in the SEC, but they don't have an identity anymore. I would say that.
Yeah, but I don't think Missouri would make a top 5 list. You asked me the top 5. But, oh, no, Mark, hell, there's 30 schools that have hurt themselves by leaving where they were. I mean, you know, listen, you and I have talked about it. I get it. You know, South Florida made a mistake. When they had it over UCF, they treated them like that. They didn't even treat them like little brother. They treated them like distant cousin, and we really don't want to have anything to do with you except that we can beat you every year, so we're going to do it. And when they had a chance to bring UCF with them to the Big East, they were like, hell no. So I have no problem with UCF returning the favor. No problem at all. But now we're at a point where I think the UCF fan needs a rivalry game at the end of the year. And deep down, come on now, you hate them, but do you dislike anyone else in the Big 12 at the level that you dislike South Florida?
But you love to hate them, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And that's important.
So it's been a few years now. If you want to make them pay for a couple more, okay. But, I mean, you guys got to do the Florida State, Clemson, South Carolina, Georgia Tech thing. You got to play each other at the end of the year.
And they're about to open that stadium. They're a year away from that. It would make the atmosphere unbelievable. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap. It's how we finish things off on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Core-Tech and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239 566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You got to help me out, Stephen. What have they held their own in? Because I mean, I guess what are they really good at? Volleyball? What else in the Big Ten have they held their own at? I'm being serious, because in basketball, other than this year, they've been terrible. They've not held their own in basketball during the entire time. Women's hoop? Help me. I don't know. I don't believe Nebraska's a good baseball program. If they are, I apologize.
They're good in softball. They're not great, but they're good.
I mean, but since they've been in, I know Michigan won a softball title. I don't think Nebraska has. Help me. I'm not being a jerk, Stephen. I don't know what they've been good at. What are you hanging your hat on? Because I'm friends with a Nebraska guy who loves Nebraska. I've never heard him brag on other sports. He was all fired up about basketball this year. Are they a perennial tournament team in baseball? I mean, I know they're good at volleyball. I don't know if anybody in the Big Ten until the West Coast teams came in cared about volleyball. And if you're hanging your hat on, hey, we went to the Big Ten and we dominate volleyball, congrats. By the way, they've been co-champs once since they joined the Big Ten in softball. 2014. Just making sure I got this right. They were conference champions, it looks like, once. So, I mean, is that holding your own? One tie in the regular season, one conference championship. Okay. It's not a conference sport, Michael. I think it is now, but that's very new. But okay. I mean, two baseball championships. I know they're great at volleyball. That I do know. They sold all those tickets for a volleyball game. And by the way, Michael, I don't think David was I'm the one that takes on pickleball. All David said is don't take the pickleball courts away. They'll get upset. That wasn't a knock on pickleball. That's a fact. Pickleball people have become the new CrossFit people of America. And the orthopedic surgeons love all of you because the injuries it's creating is making a financial windfall for all of those doctors. No one loves pickleball more than orthopedic surgeons. Nobody.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here. Final segment of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Anything you need to get off your chest before you start your final to-do?
I mean, nothing that's really relevant for the show. I could always get a few things off my chest, but I feel pretty good right now. I'm in a good mood. You know, I love Wednesdays.
You playing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What? So Wednesdays?
I've arranged all my doctor's appointments so that they are not on Wednesdays or Fridays. And I do have to have the occasional Friday doctor's appointment because my doctor up at Moffitt only sees patients a couple days a week, and one of them is Friday. I do my best around it, but since he does run the department that saved my life, I figure I can work around his schedule.
Sometimes. Right.
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 None of his staff. I'll work around his schedule. I mean, if I got to see somebody else, we can do it a different day. But if I got to see him, we do it when we, but I try to get him on Tuesdays, if possible.
Makes sense. I mean, you had to do everything they said for 100 days. I could see where now you'd want to take some of your power back.
I will say I had to see a local doctor yesterday, and I was right after I picked my daughter up from school, and the place is right next to a Culver's. And I said, she wanted to get something to eat, and she just looked at me, and it started yesterday. For the first time, this has never been said to me by my daughter. We pulled up to the cancer place, and I had to go do my appointment with my local doctor, and she said, "Give me your credit card, Dad." That was the first. And I did. I didn't object. I just said, "Here."
You knew where she was going.
She didn't clip me that bad. The kids' meal or whatever she got there didn't clip me that bad. I felt better about it than I thought I would.
Cool.
But I don't think it'll get better from this point forward when she asks for that.
No. Especially since you didn't hesitate.
When she informed me, because we passed the mall on the way, and she said, "I pretty much know where all the stores are in that mall." Oh, no. Oh, no.
And she's still a few years away from a job.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up.
So you got 4 more years of handing over the credit card.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Today in 1862, President Lincoln signed the Homestead Act into law, which provided cheap land for the settlement of the American West. 80 million acres by 1900. That guy Levi Strauss got it done today in 1873, patented the first blue jeans with copper rivets. Lindbergh took off today from New York for Paris aboard the Spirit of St. Louis in the first solo flight in 1927. Amelia Earhart departed Newfoundland today in 1932 for the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. Today in 54, one of the first rock songs, right? Bill Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock.
Yes.
Released today in 54.
My mother had it in 45.
Ooh, if she had the Decca Recordings ones, it would have been worth a bundle. I hope you didn't scratch it on the turntable.
I broke it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Did I break that or Splish Splash? But anyway, I took some records to school, and somebody, when I went to the bathroom, and a kid reached into my desk and took a couple of the records and threw them like Frisbees. And it was Splish Splash, Rock Around the Clock. Yeah, I mean classics, 45s. Yeah.
Today in 83, the Police release Every Breath You Take. It would win Billboard Song of the Year that year. That album was kind of a big deal. That Synchronicity album was kind of big.
Yes, it was.
Roger Clemens' first victory today in 84, beating the Twins 5-4. Tarantino released Inglourious Bastards today in 2009. And David Letterman hosted The Late Show for the final time today in 2015, ending 33 years in late night television.
Yeah, he did 12 with CBS. He did 93 to 2015 with CBS.
Jimmy Stewart, Bud Grant, Stan Mikita, and Joe Cocker all celebrated birthdays today. David, one of the sites, I go to all the sports sites, Pro Football Reference, Pro Basketball Reference, etc., to check birthdays. Bud Grant played 2 games in the NBA. I was shocked when I saw that. Cher is 80. Busta Rhymes, I got these backwards. David Wells, 63. Busta Rhymes, 54. What did I miss, David?
Well, I added wrong. Letterman did 22 with CBS after doing about a dozen with NBC.
Okay. You were back to that Letterman thing?
Well, I was just, just making sure I corrected it before 312 texts came in. Because they sure do like it when we're wrong.
Yeah, that one, if it's a sports thing, they'll correct you. That one,
yeah, that's true.
No, I've got to be honest with you. Anything, you got anything for me?
Not really. I mean, they laid Sinatra to rest today, but, Sunday Silence won the Preakness today in 89. No.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, for the good, we go back to Utah because, of course, the story is Utah. And the Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, because they found a great horned owl covered in concrete. And after a successful surgery to replace its damaged feathers, the owl was released to the wild. For the bad, we go to Australia, where a New Zealand couple went back home after their trip to the grocery store, opened their bag of lettuce, and a frog jumped out. I don't know about you, but if a frog jumped out of my lettuce, I'd freak for at least a little bit. I mean, you just got to wash it. I get it. But it's one thing every once in a while you get a bug or something in your produce. I get that. Things hopping or slithering out of produce would cause a loud yell.
You wouldn't wash it, though. You'd just throw it out, wouldn't you?
The lettuce?
Yeah.
Why? What's a
Okay.
frog? It's a frog.
I'm going to say this slowly. Maybe it'll sink in a little differently. You asked why would you throw out the lettuce, and I would answer because a frog emerged from it.
What do you think are in these fields where you get all your produce? Small creatures. Wash it, put it in the salad spinner, throw some dressing on it, call it a day. Quick question, would you wash your lettuce if you found a frog inside of it? 21,000, or you can just answer on the text line. Finally, the ugly. We go to Tallahassee, where 5 people were arrested after trying to scam insurance companies and physical therapy clinics by staging car accidents. Staging car accidents. It was done in the Miami area, where 2 suspects involved in a car accident reported a vehicle collided into a tree. Apparently, the accident was pre-planned. They stole $31,000 from a physical therapy place based on forms they submitted for services that were never taken. That's pretty elaborate for 30 grand. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not crashing my car for 30 grand. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, May the 20th, my son's 27th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Jake.
He is now in his late 20s, and I've reminded him that. I called him yesterday, and I said, pretty big day. I go, last day, you're mid-20s. He goes, you waited all day for that, didn't you? I said, absolutely.
I just waited all year for that.
His sister said to me, as my daughter said, does he have a girlfriend? I said, I'm not really sure about that. He goes, well, she's like, well, I want to be an aunt. I told him that. He goes, oh, she's pressuring me too?
WNBA tonight. Indiana Fever playing 7 o'clock on USA. For those that are interested in Caitlin Clark, Indiana hosting Portland. Curious what the early season ratings are for the WNBA. You know, they got paid.
Right. I would imagine that. I mean, she's been on TV. I think they've played, what have they played? 3 games. She's been on national TV for, they've played 4 now. She's been on national TV for 3 then. I think one of them wasn't nationally televised.
Yep. They're 2-2. She's had a couple of double-doubles.
She had a big night when they lost. I know that.
Yeah.
Hit the shot to tie it. I didn't see it, but.
So we got everybody in baseball playing. There are a couple of afternoon games, 6 actually, including the Rays. Getaway day for Baltimore and Tampa Bay. So they're playing at 1:10. Marlins host the Braves at 6:40 tonight. Reds Phillies are this afternoon. Astros Twins, Rangers Rockies, Giants D-backs, White Sox Mariners. Everything else, Mark, including your Tigers,
they
have to wait until tonight.
God, do they suck. I mean, thank goodness for the Anaheim Angels and the Houston Astros, because they're just a couple of games behind Detroit for having the worst record in the American League.
Yeah, the funny thing, though, is I think you're 3 games out of a playoff spot, something like that. So it's the American League. You're in it.
They're 9 games below 500, David.
I know that.
9.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware. They're not good right now.
Cubs and Brewers, 740. That's a good game. Good players, good teams.
For first place in the Central, Ohtani will not only pitch, but he will bat for the Dodgers today. Actually, it's tonight.
Yeah, 8:40 start.
Right, which will be twilight in San Diego at 5:40.
Taking under in the first inning. Are you one of those scoreless first inning bets or whatever?
Totally. My over under 7.5. I may just want to go under for the game. Basketball, Western Conference Final, Game 2 in Oklahoma City, 8:30 Eastern on NBC.
Look, I think OKC is going to win, but do you have the guts to lay 7.5?
Is that what it's up to?
Yeah.
I think I would. Now, I would have lost last night. I was all over the Cavs and they're 6.5 or 7.5. And to think they were up 22 in the 4th and didn't cover is just absurd. Would make me maybe not bet for a while after losing that one. So Spurs Thunder Game 2 tonight, 8:30 Eastern, NBC. NBC is the West. ESPN ABC has the East. Hockey tonight. ESPN has the West in hockey. Vegas and Colorado, 8 Eastern. Avs are unbeaten at home, 5-0. Vegas, though, 4-2 on the road.
I'll take the Avs in 5 and the Canes in 6 for the record of the 2 hockey series.
Both in 6. If I were to lean 5, I'd actually lean Carolina. I thought Montreal got outplayed the last 2 games of the series. I think Montreal's getting a little tired. And I think Carolina's forecheck is going to force a staggering amount of turnovers from their defense.
Well, I think the other point you made to me is bigger because I think Montreal skates well enough. The problem is Montreal and their top line has been horrible 5-on-5. And Carolina has the best penalty killing in the league. So you've got to give the edge to the Canes penalty killers over the Habs power play. And if that's the case, that puts Montreal in a very tough spot.
Yes. Going to have to win a lot of low scoring games.
Right. And they're going to figure out how to score 5-on-5, and they're not doing that right now.
And Carolina hasn't given up, what is it, more than 3 in any of their 8 playoff games? So
they're going up, but yes, you're right.
So there you have it. What's going on tonight in sports? We will be back tomorrow. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be